special presentation of ABC Sports.
The Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where tonight two strong teams meet in an NFL preseason game. Joe Gibbs, a highly successful and astute coach of the Washington Redskins, is hoping his team can recapture the form that brought them the Super Bowl trophy just 2 seasons ago. His MVP quarterback then, Doug Williams, is out with an injury, and backup Mark Griffin has not yet nailed down the starting role. Stan Humphries, a second-year pro out of Northeast Louisiana, gets the start tonight, and with it, a chance to further his cause in the quarterback competition. Jerry Burns, the affable leader of the Minnesota Vikings, has guided his team over the past 2 years into the elite group of NFL powers. Led by Pro Bowl quarterback Wade Wilson and a dominant defense, this year the Vikings are hoping to take that next step. That next step, a trip to New Orleans and Super Bowl 24. A noisy Viking crowd on hand for a Monday Night Football preseason special.
ABC's Monday Night Football preseason special, the Redskins versus the Vikings, brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Budweiser Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by new Ektar film from Kodak. For advanced photographers, the genius is in the details.
The Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Good crowd on hand tonight. It'll be a noisy crowd. It always is, as we watch a preseason game between the Washington Redskins and the Minnesota Vikings. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford. We're delighted you're with us. We will watch the Redskins and the Vikings, and in all probability, we'll watch them after the 1988 season because they both should be playoff-bound teams. They're good, they're strong, they're tough. And for the Redskins that fell to 7-9 last year, the first losing season since Joe Gibbs arrived, well, they've made some changes to correct that, but what they really have to do is stay healthy. They had an incredible rash of injuries a year ago. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, well, they were 11-5 last year. Many people have picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year. They picked them last year to go to the Super Bowl. Jerry Burns, their head coach, he puts it this way. We have to be more consistent. We have to also be able to run the ball. I left out a few of his very colorful adjectives. But being consistent, Al Michaels, you might say, would mean you have to beat the Green Bay Packers. Last year, the Vikings were able to beat the Chicago Bears, the winner of their division. They beat them twice, but they lost to the Packers 2 games, and the Packers are 4-12 team, so they got to beat Green Bay.
Funny, they haven't beat the Packers since '86, and you're right. A lot of people are picking the Vikings. They are the hip and trendy choice to win the NFC this year. Can they do it? Of course they can do it for a couple of good reasons. Number one, their defense, best in the NFL last year. Secondly, great passing game. Anthony Carter's a holdout, but he'll eventually be back. And their quarterback, Wade Wilson, good enough to go to the Pro Bowl and backed up by Tommy Kramer, who can do the job as well. But as Frank mentioned, one of the keys is going to be the running game, the reestablishing of the running game. And I don't think they need Chuck Foreman reincarnate, but they do need somebody like DJ Dozier in particular to step forward. He's been oft injured. He's been inconsistent in his first 2 years in the NFL. There he is, a #1 pick in '87 out of Penn State. If he can give them 800 to 1,000 yards, the Vikings will be very tough to beat. But the most important thing, I think, will be for Minnesota to win outright the NFC Central and not just be a wild card, because if you're a wild card, you don't get that much needed week off. If you win the division, as the Bears did last year, most often, oft times, you do get home field advantage. The Vikings are very, very tough here. So this year, on most Sundays, I think the Vikings will have one eye on their opponent and the other eye on the Chicago Bears. The Washington Redskins now, Dan Deirdorf, a team that 2 years ago wins the Super Bowl. Last year, 7-9. They've got to make some changes. What are they going to try to do?
Well, who'd think, Al, that we'd ever get to the point where we'd have to talk about the Redskins trying to become more physical, one of football's most physical teams, but that really is the case in the land of D.C. They really are trying to get bigger and stronger, and it really has manifested itself in a couple of different ways. Offensively, the Redskins' vaunted running game has disappeared. Over the last 3 years, only the Miami Dolphins have passed for more yardage than the Washington Redskins, if you can believe that. Defensively, last year they gave up over 24 points a game. The worst Redskin defensive production in the last 20 years. Bigger, stronger. Will it translate into a better Redskin team? That's what Joe Gibbs wants to know in 1989.
And thus far, Gibbs is happy with what he has seen in preseason play. As the Redskins come in with a mark of 2-0, they beat Buffalo at Canton in the Hall of Fame game 31-6, and then last week knocked off Pittsburgh at Three Rivers Stadium 21-14. It'll be Humphrey starting at quarterback for Washington, and what they'll most likely do tonight is go with Humphreys for, let's say, the first quarter and a half. Then we're going to see Bill Kenny for a quarter and a half or so. And as Minnesota receives, we'll take a look at Mark Rippon last. So the Vikings taking the opening kickoff, and this is Sean Sykes fielding at the 3-yard line and bringing it back out to the 23. From the kickoff by Lohmiller, and Wade Wilson comes out to start things for the Vikings. Hardly a Johnny-come-lately, picked in the draft in 1981, so he's been here a long time, for the most part backing up Kramer through those seasons, but now he's number 1. Dozier and Anderson, the running backs. Delaney and Jones are the wideouts, and we mentioned Anthony Carter is still holding out, and so is the tight end Steve Jordan. So some new faces for the Vikings. Minnesota at the 23-yard line with Hassan Jones in motion, and here's DJ Dozier moving to the outside, and the type of production they'll be looking for from him this season. A 6-yard gain. He's run down by Darrell Grant, and it will be 2nd and 4. Now that Washington defense, the ends, of course, probably the best pair of ends in the league, Manley and Man, with Butts having retired on the inside. Caldwell replaces Monty Coleman as the starting left linebacker. Olkowitz and Govea, with Davis at the corner with Darrell Green, and Alvin Walton and Todd Bowles are the safeties. And where is Wilbur Marshall? Well, he's hurt. Knee injury, and thus not in uniform tonight, looking on from the sideline. Jones in motion on 2nd down and 4. And this is Fenny. And he's taken down as he reaches the line of scrimmage. The big fullback Rick Fenny, tackled by Neil Olkowitz in his 11th year out of Maryland. And it will be 3rd down and 7 after a loss of 1.
Vikings without Jordan tonight, without Carter that you alluded to, Al. They give up a lot of receptions, over 120 between them last year. The feeling also when you see the smiles on Mike Lynn's face that perhaps they'll be showing up rather shortly.
Wilson out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers in this set. From the 26-yard line. Wilson fires over the middle, and it's batted incomplete. It will be 4th down, and a penalty marker is down in the backfield as well. Dick Jorgensen is our referee tonight.
Looks like a holding call against Minnesota. They came with the safety blitz, the Redskins did. Clarence Vaughn was coming in.
Holding, number 63, offense, decline.
That's Kurt
4th
Loudermilk, the center, who gets the yellow flag for the hold, and obviously they will decline the penalty. Loudermilk lined up across from Charles Mann. You see Clarence Vaughn coming in there, but it's Mann with a good move, gets by Loudermilk, and that's a fine-looking tackle by the former Ohio State center. Holding all the way.
Bucky Scribner. His kick is taken at the 31-yard line by Hobbs. And Stephen Hobbs out of North Alabama with a 9-yard return out to about the 40-yard line, and the Washington Redskins take over there. Stan Humphreys looked good in preseason last year, and then with a blood disorder, he was unable to play during the regular season. 6th-round choice out of Northeast Louisiana. And Jamie Morris starts at the featured back spot with Riggs hurt, or as the H-back. Clark and Monk are the wide receivers. Of course, you'll see a lot of Ricky Sanders as well, and Don Warren is the tight end. Jim Lachey, of course, came over in the Schrader deal last year. Grim Bostic. Mark May was the only Washington offensive player to start every game last year in that injury-riddled season.
Vikings had an illegal man downfield. The Redskins, with a good return by Hobbs out over the 40-yard line, declined the penalty, and they have good field position. You should see a lot of Ernest Biner tonight also. Acquired along with Riggs, as Joe Gibbs is trying to revamp things, get back to what he does best, and that is power football. Dan calls it tough football, but that means run the football also. Biner can do both, run it and receive.
From the 41-yard line, Washington's first offensive play, and they begin with Morris on a reverse to Monk. And Art Monk, seeing his first preseason action, picks up the yard, maybe two, out to the 43-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 9 as we look at the Minnesota defense. They gave up fewer yards than any team in the league last year. Doug Martin had knee surgery in the offseason, so no good trying to win the job outright at left end. Mike Merriweather sat out last year, the one-time Steeler. Lee and Rutland at the corners. Fullington and Edwards are the safeties. Where's Joey Browner? He's holding out, like Anthony Carter. So the Vikings with a short deck in preseason thus far. 2nd down and 8. Humphreys over the middle and dropped by number 87, Terry Orr, the H-back. It'll be 3rd down.
We get a chance to focus in tonight on Mike Merriweather. The Vikings gave up a number 1 draft pick to get him. As we look at Humphreys, good protection there, in and out of the hand. Should have had it, no question about that. But Merriweather is going to add a different dimension to the Vikings. He'll add a tremendous blitzing effect for them. And you looked at Keith Millard on the sidelines. He is out with an injured ankle. But there is Merriweather. Holds the Steelers record for 15 sacks in one season. Not big, but he's quick, good athlete, reads the play so well.
3rd down and 8. The Redskins do not use the shotgun, so Humphreys lines up under center. And on a straight drop, gets good protection and goes deep, and the receiver falls down, intended for Gary Clark. Clark fell down at the 30, and there's a flag down at the 40. Carl Lee covering on the play.
And it's a very late flag, but nonetheless, the flag thrown by the official who was closest. And the call is going to go against the Minnesota Vikings.
Illegal contact, number 39, defense, 5 yards.
Carl Lee
First
is
down.
the cornerback who gets the flag, and Gary Clark was the intended receiver of the Vikings. Let's see if we can take a look at it. There's Lee one-on-one with Gary Clark. Well, there's a good look at it. He pushes him with both hands
You can't
from
even touch
behind.
him.
No, you get one shot up close, but that was with both hands from behind, and it forced Clark to go down. The reason the flag came so late was the official isn't going to call that until he's sure it's a pass play.
1st and 10 from the 48-yard line, and this is Jamie Morris picking up a yard to the 49.
What Dan is saying is so true, and you can get very confused about it. You think, well, why did he throw that flag so late? And he should have been on top of the play, but had that play turned into a run by quarterback Humphreys, then that would have been a perfectly legal maneuver on the part of Carl Lee.
And that's what the officials are taught to do. Wait, decipher the play, run or pass. Depending upon which is which, it's a penalty or no penalty.
Morris picked up 2, 2nd down 8 from the 49. Early first quarter, no score at the Metrodome. On a delay, this is Morris finding a big hole inside the 40. Jamie inside the 30, skirting the sidelines, pushed out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So Morris finding a big hole, and Reggie Rutland saves the touchdown. 39-yard pickup for Joe Morris's younger brother.
It's really just the old counter gap. Take a look at the lineman to this side. Watch him come. The counter step by Morrison and right back through the hole. And the Vikings just caught totally unaware. The right guard, the right tackle, Krim and Jacoby come through and just wipe everything out. Joe Jacoby just buries a Viking, and then it's just up to Jamie Morris, who runs out of field before Travis Curtis saves the touchdown.
1st and 10, Washington at the 12-yard line. This time only a yard for Morris. He's used to carrying the ball a lot. In fact, as you think back to last season, the final game of the season, Morris set an NFL record against Cincinnati in that overtime game by carrying 45 times.
That's just a good practice in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
That's a Bo Schembechler practice.
He got 152 yards out of it. He's like his brother, though, little Joe Morris, up with the Giants. He likes to carry it a lot, too. They didn't let him carry it a lot the first couple of years. They thought he wasn't big enough and strong enough. They learned how quickly they were wrong when they gave it to him many times. He gets stronger.
Monk in motion, 2nd and 9. Washington from the 11-yard line. Morris tries the right side this time. Inside the 5, touchdown. Behind Lachey and Grimm. So Washington trying to reestablish their running game. They go out and they get Riggs. He's hurt tonight. And Jamie Morris pretty much says on that drive, don't forget me, fellas.
This is looking more like the Super Bowl. It's just counter gap. It's going to go up through the hole. Watch the counter step by Jamie Morris. This time, though, it's Mark May and Jim Lachey. And look at, there's the kick out by May. Lachey comes through, a Viking on his back, and Jamie Morris, the recipient of some grade A blocking.
That's what it should look like. Last year, there were 7 different offensive lines the Redskins used. They're healthy now. It does look like the Super Bowl.
Chip Lohmiller, who played his college football here at the University of Minnesota, boots it through with 10:45 to play in the first quarter.
Jim Lachey, I want you to watch number 79. Watch him, if you can see his block as he comes through the hole. Right there at the point of attack, a Viking goes over backwards, and Jamie Morris only has to break a simple arm tackle to get the Redskins' first score.
Metabolic functions, check. Respiration systems on. Okay, CJ, talk to me. What do you really feel?
It's just smooth out here. Let's shake it up a bit.
Try section 36.
Section 36.
Roger that. Accelerating.
Showtime.
This is what sets every Mazda apart. It's called Kansei engineering. Engineering based on human feelings.
Keep an eye on his pulse, please.
I think I'm in love.
We monitor that, CJ.
With it, Mazda can actually learn how to create cars that feel just right.
Hey, Steve. You tell me, how am I doing?
All 78, respiration stable.
You see, at Mazda, we believe that performing right is an admirable beginning, but feeling right is what driving is really all about. Come feel Kansei engineering.
Wow.
It is from Kodak. It is for the advanced photographer. It delivers the highest resolution. Microfine grain. Superior image structure. It is called Ektar. Sound like the most impressive color print film ever made? It is. New Ektar film by Kodak. The genius is in the details.
When these two teams met here in 1984, the game featured the only touchdown ever scored by a Washington Redskin offensive lineman. Keith Griffin fumbled, and Joe Jacoby, number 66, pounced on it in the end zone as Washington went on to beat Minnesota that night, 31-17. Lohmiller kicks off for Washington, skins ahead 7-0 early on. Joe Fuller brings it back for Minnesota to the 21-yard line, and the Vikings have the ball for the second time in the game.
Two things I want you to watch. Watch Lachey and watch Grimm go through the hole. But watch Mike Merriweather over here. Watch how he gets eradicated at the point of attack.
And this was the concern about Mike Merriweather. He only weighs about 220 pounds. He's great on the pass rush. He's quick. He gets off blocks. But you saw him absolutely buried 1-for-1 there by Terry Orr. And it is going to be an ongoing concern for Mike Merriweather because he stays on that strong side. They don't switch.
Yeah, Orr was just lined up to the outside and just caved Merriweather in.
Vikings start this drive from the 22. Wilson, a short drop, and look out. And Charles Mann, healthy again. He played almost all of last season with a painful hip flexor. We've got a penalty marker on the play. But Mann healthy once again. And I tell you what, if he played as well as he did last year,
2 men were in motion.
2 men in motion is the call. If he played as well as he did last year, Frank, as injured as he was, then there's no telling, of course, what he'll do completely healthy.
Well, he says he's in great shape. He's glad to be there because he really suffered through some tough times with that hip injury and an ankle injury. He has a new man on the inside of him. Gone is Dave Butts. He has a new man on the outside. Gone is Mel Coughlin. Raven Caldwell is there, and it could be that he'll have Curtis Maxey or Tracy Rocker to his insides, and that makes a big difference. Motion penalty declined at 2nd and 14. Under pressure, Wilson gets it away and hits number 86, tight end Darrell Ingram. Rookie out of California. Chris Dolman suffering a cut left thumb on that last drive, and we can see it here.
Dolman is on the ground, lined up in the three-point stance, being the instinctive pass rusher that he is. You can see the left thumb, how he has it up on the helmet of Jim Lachey. And it happens sometime, and there he looks right at it. So right now, Chris Dolman out of the game. Obviously with the Vikings having the ball, but we'll get a more detailed report on how badly it's cut.
3rd and 6. Wilson from the shotgun. Protected well, goes deep, but too deep over the middle for a wide open Anthony Allen, who came over from the Redskins as a free agent. He had gotten behind Darrell Green, and that is no easy task, because Green has twice won the NFL's fastest man competition.
Darrell Green turns him over as if he's playing zone, except for the rest of the Redskins were playing man-to-man. Darrell Green appeared like he should have been locked up one-on-one with Anthony Allen, rides him for 5 yards, lets him go. Boy, that could have been an easy touchdown for the Vikings.
So Scribner to kick. Stephen Hobbs back to receive. Again, it's a low-angle kick. Hobbs fields it near the sideline at the 31 and brings it back out to the 37. So Washington, after an impressive first drive, has it at the 37 with 9:26 to go in the first period. 7-0 Skins.
For reaching out, for reaching high, for pushing hard each time you try, for the smile that's part of you, for stepping in, for coming through this buzz for you.
Beechwood aged for the taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
This buzz for you.
Force equals mass times acceleration. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with the new Die-Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die-Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
For every man who wears Brute, there's a woman who loves what he smells like. Because there's something about Brute that's nice to be close to.
Honey, I was just thinking about you.
Brute, it smells like a man.
The Boomer is Bayou bound. The Cincinnati Bengals head to New Orleans to Cajun the Saints. It's an ABC Monday Night Football preseason special next week.
So the Redskins, a team that executed a first drive similar to several drives they executed in the Super Bowl in San Diego against Denver. The counter gap working to perfection. That day it was Timmy Smith. On the first drive tonight it was Jamie Morris. And on a delay, he starts this drive by working his way out to the 39 for a gain of a yard or two. Scott Studwell, who's filled that middle for 13 years, makes the tackle.
It's the same old play. The Redskins just come at you in waves. This time it'll be Mark May and Joe Jacoby coming from the right side. This is a good look at the best blocking offensive line in the game of football. You factor in Don Warren at tight end, Jim Lachey at left tackle, Russ Grimm at left guard, Jeff Bostic at center, Mark May at right guard, and Joe Jacoby at right tackle. There's no better run blocking line in the league.
2nd and 8. Ernest Biner is in the game, and the pass is incomplete, and a flag goes down. Humphrey's under pressure, and the marker is thrown.
I think Donnie Warren now got a head start. He was across the line of scrimmage at the snap of the ball.
And the line judge, Dale Oram, discussing it with Dick Jorgensen. The call is against Washington. And Studwell saying we will decline
illegal motion in the form of an illegal shift. Number 85, offense, decline. 3rd down.
Yeah, he was shifting all right. He was getting ready to run his pass pattern and just misjudged the snap count. Almost fell out of his stance onto his face. Bigger than average. And Jeff Bostic, who's listed there at 260, is actually up around 275 this year, adding about 15 pounds with an extensive weight program in the offseason.
3rd and 8, and that big line protecting Humphries. He has a lot of time, but the pass is incomplete, well underthrown. Sanders covered well on the play to begin with by Isaac Holt. Sanders and Humphries were not on the same page at all. Humphries expecting the break. He didn't get the break.
Well, this is about as good as matchup as you could possibly find. 2 All-Pros, Jim Lachey and Chris Dolman. Dolman back in, even though he's got the cut thumb. 2 tremendous athletes going at it right here. And that is as effective a job as a tackle can do, riding his pass rusher upfield, giving the quarterback a lane to see downfield, and no factor at all.
Richard Tootin battling for the punting job, gets off a good one, fielded at the 6 by the former Redskin Anthony Allen, and he brings it back out to the 16-yard line. With 8:30 to play in the first quarter, Vikings have the ball after a 55-yard kick and 11-yard return.
Okay, have it your way. You can't change pollution. You can't change the deficit. You can't change the price of bread. But you gotta start somewhere. I mean, take your clothes, for example. If you just get out of that monkey suit, you might get a positive attitude going. I mean, the world could be your oyster. Oyster, well, it's an acquired taste that usually takes time.
Most men won't even discuss it with their wives, but when they start losing their hair, they talk about it with me. I say, don't waste your time with those miracle formulas. The Food and Drug Administration says there's no proof that they grow hair. The thing to do is to see a doctor. Doctors have the only treatment programs that are proven to work. Men listen because they know I'm making sense. After all, I'm a doctor.
Only your doctor has treatment programs that work. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
Talk to me, CJ. What are you really feeling?
It's very sweet.
This is what sets every Mazda apart. It's called Conseil Engineering. Engineering based on human feelings.
Keep an eye on his pulse, please.
With it, Mazda can actually learn how to create cars that feel just right. Because to us, feeling right is what driving is really all about. Come feel a Mazda.
Hi, I'm Joan London. The movie that Hollywood couldn't stop. Tomorrow, author Bob Woodward on the controversial new film Wired. Also, Pam Dauber will be here on Good Morning America tomorrow.
It's a tough sport. There's Jim Lachey being attended to on the sideline. He lost the contact. You know that last replay we saw of Lachey at left tackle? A really brilliant move, putting him at left tackle and moving Joe Jacoby over to right tackle, because that's exactly the type of pass rush that Dolman gave that would have given Jacoby problems last year.
Now Minnesota with the ball, and it's Alfred Anderson with his first carry, netting nothing, and Darrell Grant in his 9th year out of Rice, number 77, making the tackle. There's Jacoby.
And Joe Jacoby still has plenty of good football to play. And at right tackle, he's going to have the tight end next to him more often than he did at left tackle. And he is better suited to play the last couple years of his career at right tackle. Brilliant move by the Redskins.
And it didn't hurt their feelings either, because Jacoby got hurt in the 12th game, and they moved Lachey to the left tackle. When he got healthy, Jacoby, they brought him back in, moved him right into right tackle.
Left tackle is a young man's position.
2nd and 10, and they shovel it to Darren Nelson, and he can't turn the corner. He's run out of bounds by Todd Bowles. I mentioned at the outset, I thought one of the keys for the Vikings would be DJ Dozier. He's going to be their number 1 back, though Nelson will see a lot of action, but Darren's to the point in his career, 8th season, where he's more of a specialist and the guy you can rely on to carry the ball 30 times a game. And there it is, going back to last season. As you can see, Nelson led the team with only 380 yards and a 3.4 average, very low.
Both these teams have to improve in rushing. The Vikings were 20th rushing a year ago, and meanwhile the Redskins, they were worse than that. They were 25th rushing. You barely have balance to get there.
You barely got 1,000 out of the 3 of them.
3rd and 8. Wilson fires a strike on the far side, and it's picked off, intercepted.
That's Brian Davis, and
have just about handed him that left corner spot. He looked awfully good a year ago filling in for Barry Wilburn. Barry Wilburn has kind of been told, you're going to be on this ball team as a starter. You're going to have to start a free safety because Brian Davis is going to work the corner, and he handles it beautifully here, and they pick up the blitz very well up front. Look at the step right in front of the receiver. Good move by Brian Davis. Timed it out beautifully.
Almost simultaneous possession. The receiver almost got in there and got his hands on it, tried to take it away, but Davis took a chance. He cut in front, pulled it away beautifully, and that's just a nice play by Davis. Delaney had no chance pulling it out.
So Washington takes over the 27-yard line, and Humphries goes right to the air, and the Vikings return the favor. Reggie Rutland at the 1-yard line.
Oh, you don't float it in there. You got to put something on that, but you know you're going to be going in between defenders, and Humphries tried to put it in there with the touch rather than drill it, and it's picked off. Reggie Rutland. Good cornerbacks for these Vikings. Gave Rutland the time to come from behind. Clark had him beat. Just needed to be delivered a little earlier and with a little more on it.
That is a touchdown all the way to Gary Clark if that ball is just thrown 3 feet more out in front of him. Stan Humphries very disappointed with himself, and it looks like we're going to have a replay here. I guess the question is going to be whether or not he trapped it.
And this is subject to interpretation. It's
well, that ball right there, that ball, as he brought it down before he got it into his body, he had it with his hands, but then the ball came down and made contact with the turf.
That's a tough one to call.
What is possession?
Did he have possession here? Did he have both hands firmly in control of the ball?
And the man who will determine it is George Slatke, who was also a replay official last week in Miami.
And again, folks, keep in mind that the officials gave it to him, so this has to be enough evidence to overturn it. Now, he wasn't bobbling the ball on his way down. I mean, the ball was firmly between his two hands. Granted, he didn't pull it to his body. Is that enough to overturn it and call it an incomplete pass?
Stan Humphries hopes it is. He's very interested.
Well, frankly, I think that's a brilliant interception.
I would not overturn it. I agree. I think he had possession.
I mean, I think you have to give a guy credit for some athleticism and making a great play. I think you've got to say that that's an interception.
And the play should stand.
By the replay official, the play stands.
Nice
interception
call
by Minnesota. First down.
Nice call.
Good call and a super play. And for Stan Humphries, again, he had him there. It should have been 6.
Give this guy some credit. That was a heck of a play.
Let's hear it for George Slatke as well.
Yeah. He's a good cornerback. On the other side, Carl Lee is a Pro Bowl cornerback. Get Joey Browner back. Not bad back there.
Vikings have the ball after the back-to-back interceptions. And from the 1, Darren Nelson gives them some breathing room. He's taken down by Todd Bowles after a pickup of 4. We're halfway through the first quarter in Minneapolis with Washington leading 7-0. Both teams unbeaten in preseason play. Jerry Burns, with Tom Landry no longer coaching, Burns is now at age 62 the oldest coach in the NFL.
He's a feisty one, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Good man. Takeaway, giveaway, and the coaches pay a lot of attention to that stat. Minnesota best in the league last year, plus 23. Washington worst in the league. Finney fights his way out to the 10, close to a first down. He's about a yard short. Darrell Grant in on the tackle. And why is that stat important? Well, normally you'll win if you win that battle. As you can see, in the 80s, the entire decade, more than 3/4 of the time, the team with fewer turnovers wins the game.
And we just saw the Vikings a moment ago capitalize on a quick turnover. Reggie Rutland with a super play, and they make a lot of good plays. They force a lot of good plays. It's the #1 defense in the NFL. They get up in your face with Millard. He's not playing tonight. With Dolman. Doug Martin, who also is not playing, but they rush a lot of quarterbacks into hasty throws.
The Vikings have taken a timeout. Wade Wilson called one and heads for the sideline.
3rd and 1 when we come back. 6:16 to play in the opening quarter.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
John Settle of the Falcons is hit by a Buck defender at the 2, and before touching his knee to the ground, he lunges forward with the ball, but loses it when the ball hits the goal line. Now you make the call. Whose ball is it and where?
You wish your data were better directed, that all your departments were interconnected. How are you gonna do it? Well, you're gonna PS to it with the IBM PS2. You want to network up, network down, exchange information with other towns. When you're all linked up, you can share ideas from bottom to top. How you gonna do it? I'll tell you. You're gonna PS to it. The solution is IBM.
What call did you make? Since Settle broke the plane of the goal line before he touched his knee down and before he lost the ball, it is a touchdown for the Falcons.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
Fancy perfuming aftershave. It's got to be a quarterback's locker. Real guys who get mud on their uniforms use rugged, honest stuff. Ice Blue Aqua Velva.
There's something about today's Aqua Velva, man.
So you still think linemen are dumb?
It's their biggest game of the year, the championship game of the Little League World Series. Live on an early edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday.
Two men looking for a comeback season of sorts, Dexter Manley and Richie Pettibone, defensive coordinator. Last year, teams running roughshod over Washington, 3rd and 1. And it's the big fullback, Rick Fenny, 6'1", 232, in his 3rd year out of the University of Washington, who picks up the first down over the left side.
What a good look at how, and a flag is down on the field. But, boy, there's a good look at how a big fullback moves the pile.
5-yard face mask foul, number 91, defense, first down.
Well, Fenny had the first down by his own yardage, but that's an automatic first down anyway. Winooski getting the call, but boy, Fenny goes in there and just folds back a couple of the Redskins, and it's pretty tough to get a better look at a penalty than the way we just have it right there. Winooski hanging on for dear life, upside down like that, not being able to see. He may not have realized that he had a hold of Fenny's face mask.
First down, Minnesota at the 18. The Vikings' first down tonight. Pressure from Mann. Wilson gets it away, and it is...
That's an INT.
Picked off at the 28-yard line by Brian Davis again.
Well, he's got Wade Wilson figured out. He's making the break on that out pattern and just walking right in front of it. I mean, that is just a perfectly timed break by Davis. You got to understand how risky this is. If he breaks in front of Hassan Jones here at the wrong time, Hassan Jones turns upfield and goes for a touchdown. Now, that is either a ball that doesn't have a lot of zip, or it's Brian Davis just with extraordinary reflexes and timing.
They are almost certainly going to have him there in the corner as a starter, making it tough on Barry Wilburn, and it's really why Wilburn was moved to the free safety. But again, good timing. I'm sure we'll see the Vikings come back and try some kind of fly against Davis. He's just playing that receiver too tight.
You could etch it in stone after 2 interceptions. The pass is complete for a gain of 8, and it's Ricky Sanders who gets wrestled out of bounds at the 20-yard line with 5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter, and Washington leading 7-0.
Brian Davis was really no surprise, though. He's a second-round draft pick they picked up in 1987 out of a good school, Nebraska, good program. And when Wilburn went down last year with an injury, he stepped in and played real fine football for him, and they knew they had to get him in there a little more frequently. And there's Wilburn 2 years ago. He led the NFL in interceptions, but he's going to have to make it, at least as a starter, this year at free safety, it appears.
2nd and 2. Soule set back as Morris. And Jamie gets it, picks up the first down, and a gain of 6.
Nice
14-yard line. Scott Studwell makes the tackle. You know, Dan, I'm mentioning the fact that obviously they pick up Riggs to be the main man out of the backfield, but that perhaps has spurred Jamie Morris on. He does not want to be the forgotten man.
And he's really not the guy that you would picture when you think of the Washington offense and the one-back set. I mean, people like Riggins and George Rogers and Gerald Riggs come to mind. The big, strong back And when you look at Morris, you'd say, well, here's the Mike Oliphant type of player, the third down player, the Kelvin Bryant guy, and yet he's excelling out of the one-back running offense.
4 in motion. Here's Morris again, and he picks up 5. And on the subject of Washington backs, let's not forget Kelvin Bryant. If you're wondering about Kelvin Bryant, he was involved in an auto accident about 3 weeks ago. Yesterday, they got the report that they think it's going to be about 6 weeks, at least 6, before Bryant can get back. Neck injury.
Well, I know that the loss of a Kelvin Bryant damages any ball club, but I don't know that it will have the impact on the Redskins that it would on some teams. This is a team with a wealth of running backs, some real depth.
2nd and 5, ball at the 9, 4 in motion. And Morris again, and Studwell wraps him up at the 6-yard line, short of the first down, 2 yards shy. It'll be 3rd and 2 with 4 minutes to play in the quarter.
Even as we watched Amy Morris tonight, we know that what's going on through the minds of the offensive players and head coach Joe Gibbs is that Gerald Riggs is going to give them a lot of 2nd down and 4, 2nd down and 3, 2nd down and 5. And last year they were dealing with 2nd down and 7, 2nd down and 8. It's a decidedly different picture. And I'm sure they're planning on that big back, a healthy offensive line, and they're going to be in a lot better strategic position on 2nd down throughout the season.
It's 3rd down and 2 with Biner lined up at left half, and unless there's nobody in there to take care of the on-rushing Viking David Howard, and Humphreys has to get rid of it. Biner had been lined up at left half but went out into the pattern, and Howard had a clear road.
Howard's got a new position this year. He has been moved over to the weak side with the acquisition of Mike Merriweather. He played strong side, started there 16 games last year. Now here he comes without the tight end over him, and he is untouched, gets in there, forces the quick toss, forces the incompletion. Good play by Howard.
And that's a great defensive call by Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. He overloaded the one side, one more rusher than they could accommodate, and at the same time had everyone covered. Al Noga coming through the line there a little early. Was he drawn off or not? We shall find out.
Chip Lohmiller will eventually attempt the field goal.
There's Floyd Peters, a guy that I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if within the next year or two is a head coach here in the National Football League.
Certainly deserves it. He, like Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator.
Coachman, number 99, defense, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Well, Noga was not thrown off, and Lohmiller will not be attempting a field goal. First down at the 3.
And that is a catastrophic, rather blatant mistake by a defensive lineman to come off sides and take a field goal position and make it into a 1st and goal.
Talking about all the teams that Floyd Peters has been with, he was with the Cards, Detroit, San Francisco, and the Giants as a coach. He played for Baltimore, Cleveland, Detroit, Philadelphia, and Washington.
Well,
he's been around.
Floyd Peters was in St. Louis when I was there, and Al Noga better watch out for him on the sideline.
1st and goal from the 3, and Morris gets wrapped up by Noga. Yeah. So Noga, who was no good on the special teams, is very good here.
Noga better do it 2 more times, too, because Floyd Peters right here is waiting for him.
He looked real good last week against Kansas City.
Al, baby, you better have a couple more of those in your system.
Save them for the main event, will you? Let's watch it now again. Noga, number 99, just a clear shot coming from the left side. He worked last year over on the right side. Well, Doug Martin ordinarily would be a starter at that left defensive end, but he's rehabbing an injured knee.
You can run from Noga, but can't hide.
2nd and goal with Monk in motion. Sanders split to the left, and the throw is dropped in the end zone. So Humphreys can't buy a break, and it was Ricky Sanders cutting in over the middle, covered by Reggie Rutland.
Good read, and that'll show up in the films because the safety blitz was on, and Humphreys read it beautifully. That ball should have been caught.
It is just single coverage. It is just single coverage, and Rutland is a step behind, and the Vikings that time really dodge a bullet.
3rd and goal. Sanders split left, Monk split right. Humphreys is 1 out of 7 for 9 yards, but he's had a couple of drops. Biner is the sole setback, and he goes out into the pattern. Humphreys looking left and then right and then over the middle, and is lucky that wasn't picked off at the goal line by Scott Studwell. And so now Washington will attempt the field goal.
Good coverage on Biner coming out of the backfield. He was the intended receiver. Humphries took a quick look at him. Rutland was right with him. He's looking for Biner right there. Biner's covered by Rutland. Over in the left corner of your screen, he has to switch off, and he almost throws the interception.
Wow. A lot of drop balls tonight. Of course, that's to be expected in the preseason, but boy, you won't see Scott Studwell drop that one. And Al Noga gets a new lease on life.
Yeah.
Noga doesn't have to hide.
He won't be blocking this kick. Lohmiller, 24-yard field goal.
There'll be no Noga hide on Floyd Peters' couch.
Not tonight.
Oh, let's let it lay there.
Oh, man. Oh, man. It's preseason. You can get away with it. 2:30 to play in the quarter. 10-0. A reminder this Saturday on ABC Sports. Help celebrate the 50th year of Little League Baseball. First at 3:30 Eastern and Pacific, we'll present the Little League 50th anniversary special. Then on a special edition of Wide World, it's the Little League World Series, as always, on Wide World of Sports, coming your way from Lamade Field in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Live except on the West Coast this Saturday.
You covering that, Al? You're not covering that, are you?
No, I've covered that event a number of times.
Dan, you're going to, now that the fight game is over, you're going to be moving into other areas?
No, the fight game and the boxing, the boxing game and the football game tend to be a year-round occupation.
You and Alex did a superb job all year long.
Thank you very much.
Traveling to those exotic spots?
Yeah. Norfolk, Atlantic City,
Monaco.
Hey, we had Monaco, yeah. I got a postcard from someone there once. Good one yesterday with Pernell Whitaker. Dominating Jose Luis Ramirez.
Shut him out. Lohmiller kicks it down to the 11 where Joe Fuller comes straight up the middle. And the Vikings will begin their next drive from the 27-yard line with Washington on top. 10-0. First 4 possessions coming up for Minnesota. Punt, punt, interception, interception.
That's not good, is it?
No.
It should have been and could have been. There should have been a touchdown shot from Wade Wilson. Could have been very easy.
Brian Davis has been all over Wade Wilson with those 2 pickoffs on out patterns. How about a little out and go?
Just a plain fly.
Well, out and up it works.
Davis lines up on Delaney, who split to the right. And Wilson looking the other way, but can't get rid of it as Charles Mann comes in to get the sack.
Tough to run anything deep with that kind of pressure. Mann right in his face before Wilson could even look upfield.
Oh, and what a big-time move Charles Mann puts on the right tackle. Tim Irwin is the right tackle, and Charles Mann starts upfield, just knocks him out of the way to take that inside mainline route right to the quarterback.
He paid a great tribute to the Eagles' Reggie White last time we talked to him, Dan. You heard him, Al. He said, my goal is to be like Reggie White. He's the best in the game today. White didn't even equivocate about it.
White still holding out at Philadelphia. 2nd down and 20 from the 18-yard line. And Benny makes the catch. And he takes it out to the 30-yard line where Darrell Green makes the tackle, about 8 yards shy of the first down. 3rd down upcoming with 1:40 to go in the opening quarter.
I think Bruce Smith in Buffalo might like to be involved in that conversation with Charles Mann about who's the best defensive lineman in the game.
Thing about Mann, of course, he doesn't get to see that much of the AFC. As far as White is concerned, he gets to see him twice a year.
I think Reggie White and Bruce Smith look so much alike.
They do. Big, huge.
In their instinctive moves, their ability to spin, get upfield.
They're big, 285. They play like an offensive tackle playing defense.
3rd and 8 out of the shotgun. Wilson buying time. Escapes Manley and gets the first down. Wade Wilson improvising out at the 40-yard line. And anytime you see a quarterback do something like that in this town, you think of one man, Fran Tarkenton.
Francis, but I didn't believe Wilson had that kind of speed. Now, you run away from Manley. Manley's got some quickness back there. He gets in trouble right here, steps inside to get around Charles Mann, number 71. And this is perhaps a bad angle on the part of Dexter Manley, but perhaps he also didn't feel that Wade Wilson had that kind of speed, and Wilson saw the first down marker and stepped across it.
I think you might have hit it the second time, Frank. He may have underestimated Wilson and thought that he had him. Dexter Manley, one of the fastest linemen in the league.
1st and 10 from the 40, over the middle, out at the 50-yard line. No catch intended for Jared Delaney, getting the start tonight, and Brian Davis all over him.
Brian Davis was actually on the field with the ball lying on top of him. This guy has been all over the place. Brian Davis. He was a second-round draft choice back in '87 from Nebraska. And look at that coverage.
Well, that's a great play there. To avoid the interference, reach inside with the left hand. Might have got into a little tussle there. Look, he doesn't touch him, but gets inside, knocks it away.
That's good, solid coverage. You're going to say, well, wait a minute, there was some touching going on. There's always going to be a little touching going on, but nothing interfered blatantly with the receiver. That's just good defense.
2nd and 10, Benny. First down, a flag, though, comes out of the secondary as he takes it to the Washington 45-yard line.
He's not going to call holding on Randall McDaniel, is he?
Not even called an illegal block on him, and I don't think it was. The defensive man turned on McDaniel, but McDaniel
I hope it wasn't.
complaining.
It's some sort of a tripping penalty. DJ Dozier is right in there, looking like he's the guy that's being flagged the way he's demonstrating in front of the officials. That was a good, clean block out front by Randall McDaniel. It is DJ Dozier. Well, what do you know? We have it on ISO. He's blocking on Raven Caldwell.
Well, that's pretty thick. Well, I don't know.
Ooh, man. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Did not call it blatant for sure.
That's a relatively weak call.
And a big penalty, 15 yards.
Yeah, it really is. That's a tough one, DJ. You're in there trying to make a block and you get flagged for that. That's not a good one.
Back at the 30 now on 2nd and 20. And it's Dozier stopped after a minimal pickup on what will be the final play of the first quarter. The second ticking down here at the Metrodome, and an impressive quarter for Washington.
Wade Wilson would not even try to get another play off, but again, for Dozier, he is the man they're looking for big things this year. And they like the way he's approaching it. They like the animation. You saw it a moment ago. Unhappy with the call.
Back with ABC's Monday Night Football after this message from our ABC station.
It's just a pure and natural beer for you. So icy cold, so crisp, so clear for you. The king of beer, so fresh, so true for you. You got the taste, this bud's for you.
It seems like yesterday the Miller girls were in their strollers. Today things are changing. I'm State Farm Agent Dee Ray. After Shannon and Stephanie came along, the Millers needed our family insurance checkup. I showed them ways they could update their family coverage to cover their bigger family. Like every State Farm agent, I work with a family to help keep their insurance up to date. Keeping up with the girls, that's their job.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is ABC.
To the man whose friendship knows no boundary. To men of dignity, courage, and valor. To everyday heroes everywhere. We offer our best. A beer smooth enough to be called a Miller.
Nothing but the best will do. Buy that man a Miller beer. The best comes shining through.
WJLA presents tonight's winning lottery number.
ABC's Monday Night Football preseason special, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
The Metrodome in Minneapolis, home of the Vikings. We start the second quarter. Minnesota has the ball, 3rd down and 18 from the Viking 31. As Wilson walks it to the far sideline. The catch is made there by Allen Rice, but he's well shy of the first down, and the Vikings will have to punt.
Well, the Vikings will have to punt. Here's what killed the drive. This holding call, the tripping call rather. Watch Dozier go in, makes his block at the 40. But what is significant here, All right, watch the block at the 40-yard line. I want you to watch where the flag. Look lower right of your TV screen. There comes the flag coming in from nowhere's land, a good 20 yards away from the call by an official, clear out of the picture. Now, I'm sorry, that guy has no business calling a tripping that far away. Something as subtle as Dozier's penalty from really clear in the defensive backfield.
Another area code.
No, that's from the concession at the end of the field. Seriously.
Bucky Scribner's kick will float down to the 25-yard line. And it's Stephen Hobbs, almost broke it. Takes it back out to the 41. Rick Fenny makes the tackle. Joe Gibbs still looking for a return man. Hobbs doing a nice job tonight. Look at that. In the first quarter, with Minnesota controlling the ball for more than half the quarter, but it's Washington on the board leading 10-0.
35 total yards, not much of an offensive production, only 2 first downs for the Vikings, and of course the 2 turnovers, both the interceptions by Brian Davis.
The Redskins rushing 66 yards, a couple of big plays by Jamie Morris.
I know one thing at that pace, the Viking first-team offense is going to get a little more work tonight than they might have bargained for.
And particularly significant, only 15 total yards passing in the entire game as Biner makes the catch. And Ernest Biner, the former Cleveland Brown, who can be so versatile, and Joe Gibbs is going to use him in a lot of roles. Feature back, motion man, H-back, receiver this year, picks up the first down.
Good move by Humphreys. Dolman was right in his face. He set up quickly and got rid of that ball a little earlier than he wanted to. But again, Biner, leading receiver, leading rusher for the Cleveland Browns a year ago. Surprising that, not saying anything against Mike Oliphant, but that was an even-up trade. Mike Oliphant, a third-round draft pick from the year before. Biner had great years with the Browns.
First and 10, Washington at the 40-yard line. Humphreys to the near side, and the catch is made at the 33-yard line by Art Monk, who's caught more passes in the decade of the 80s than any other receiver in the National Football League. Steve Largent slightly behind. There it is, 576 in the 80s.
Frank, you talked about the velocity on Humphrey's ball when he threw it, the interception by Reggie Rutland. Do you notice any difference the way he's throwing this one? I mean, this ball here does not have much of an arc on it. That is a good line drive from Humphrey. Gibbs might have said something.
He hasn't played that much, making his first start. Of course, he's only been a preseason player, and it's all kind of new to him. And first of all, he's been knowing all week that he's going to be out there. Gibbs wanted to see what kind of reaction he'd have to that kind of pressure.
Second and 3, lofting it from Monk, but Monk is out of bounds as he stretches for it. Can't hold on. Darrell Fullington covering on the play.
Good coverage on that play back there.
I think that's Carl Lee, the corner.
Pro Bowler, and watch him. He looks right into Monk's eyes. And Monk's coming off a pulled hamstring, and you kind of even wonder why they should be coming back with this one.
Fullington, number 29, Al Lee, number 39. I thought it was Fullington, too, when he originally had the coverage. But there is Carl Lee, and he just ate Art Monk up on that. That's outstanding coverage. And quite an effort by Monk, who almost gets it.
So it's 3rd down and 3 now. Redskins at the Viking 33. Washington ahead 10-0.
Look out! Look out!
And smothered at the 45-yard line. Tim Newton, number 96, had a clear pass and gets the sack. And pushes him back out of field goal range as well.
Tim Newton just explodes. There he is to the right side of your screen.
Number 96. Nate Newton's little brother. Dallas Cowboy, and how little can you be?
Some confusion inside as Bostic and Raleigh McKenzie both jumped on the same guy and turned Newton loose.
Newton, whose last kick was 55, this one is about 60% of that distance or less, and bounces back the other way. And Tootin himself downs the ball. He's going to hustle if nothing else. How often do you see the punter down his own punt?
Tootin hits a 60%er.
He wants the job.
Oh, boy.
He's hustling downfield.
Can you tell this is preseason?
One-man gang.
Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football.
Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows tennis?
No.
Bo knows weights.
Folks, you don't know diddly.
When you buy a Supercolor TV antenna from Radio Shack for just $24.88, you'll get terrific reception instead of interception. It's easy to install, and the Supercolor computer-designed antenna gives you pictures and sound so real.
Hey, Starbuck, what do we do now?
Red right, 16 wide post, on one.
It could make all the difference in the game.
There's a man open. And touchdown!
The Supercolor TV antenna, just $24.88, only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
Starbuck called the perfect play.
Now, during the official Ford clearance, get low 2.9% financing or up to $1,000 cash bonus on Ford Ranger. Get 2.9 financing or $750 on Bronco 2. Plus, get up to $750 on select S-Series pickups. Combine the cash with option package discounts and save over $2,200 on Ranger, over $2,900 on Bronco 2, and over $3,200 on big pickups. Just some of the great values at your Ford dealer now during the official Ford clearance.
Two guys vying for the Redskins punting job, Horn on the left and Tootin on the right, who followed a 55-yard kickoff with this one that winds up as a 22-yard punt.
Hey, you can tell a guy who wants to make a football team, a punter sprinting down, makes his own play. Says, come on, guys, give me a break, kill this sucker.
Unfortunately, the object is to kick it farther than where you can recover it.
From the 25-yard line, Wade Wilson goes deep, and the catch is made at the 49-yard line by Hassan Jones. And he takes the ball into Washington territory.
You and your details, Dan. Hassan Jones, 19 yards plus per catch a year ago. Really came on. A lot of it because on the other side, Anthony Carter was drawing all kinds of double coverage. He got a lot of single coverage. But make no mistake about it, he of the good move, not the blazing speed. But he will give you a threat to the downfield as he did this. Break it off. And Wade Wilson gets it in perfectly.
Martin Mayhew with the coverage there. Reacted in and could have made the tackle on the spot, but didn't wrap up.
27-yard pickup down from the 48. Fenny cuts to the outside. And Fenny puts his head down and comes close to picking up the first down to the 38-yard line, stopped by Clarence Vaughn. Fenny, big guy, and you think about him as a short yardage type, but here's a fellow who averaged almost 5 yards a carry last season, so he can break it. Metrodome, Minneapolis is the site as Washington leads Minnesota 10-0. Skins come in 2-0 in preseason. Vikings are 1-0. Each team trying to find a running game after problems in that department last year. They'll measure here. Washington was a very impressive opening drive tonight, culminated by a Jamie Morris touchdown run, and they just do pick up the first down. Low middle followed with a field goal, and Gibbs and the Skins lead 10-0.
Might point out at halftime, Lynn Swan's in San Diego. He'll be talking with Jim McMahon, the former Chicago Bear quarterback, who is now a Charger. Took a couple of years to resolve that, didn't it?
And it might be one of those trades that pleases everyone.
Exactly.
Certainly a chance for Jim McMahon to stretch his wings a bit. He said he's pleased with the move to San Diego, and certainly a golden opportunity for Mike Tomczak and Jim Harbaugh.
Inside handoff, big hole for Darren Nelson to the 18-yard line. Barry Wilburn and Kurt Gouveia converge to make the stop. And how often have you seen those types of moves from Darren Nelson, skittering and slithering in his 8 years in the NFL?
Just a simple trap up the middle. And oftentimes it'll be a trap that just explodes like that. There's the big right tackle, Tim Irwin, coming down, chopping down some Redskins. And when a trap works, it's beautiful. When it doesn't work, the running back meets a defensive lineman as he's taking the handoff.
20-yard gain. Now it's Nelson again. Through the middle to the 13-yard line to pick up about 5 yards on the play. Caldwell in on the tackle.
And we've been watching that experiment of Wilburn to free safety, number 45. And on the past couple of plays, and Brian Davis with good, solid cornerback play in relief of Wilburn a year ago, and also here tonight.
Tell you somebody to watch out for. Tracy Rocker has come into the game for the Washington Redskins. He's playing over at the left defensive tackle spot. Playing over there next to Charles Mann. There's Rocker. Hard to miss.
He was their top draft choice, but he came in the 3rd round. They've given away 1 and 2.
The Outland Trophy winner, the Lombardi winner.
2nd and 5, and here's Nelson, and nothing doing. Nelson is tackled by Marcus Cook after he tried to scoot away from Clarence Vaughn.
The knock on Rocker was that he didn't maybe have the right work habits, and I think that came about when you talked to Joe Gibbs by the fact that he was an All-American at Atlanta Fulton County High School, and when he was in high school, he was a tremendous star there. He went to, of course, Auburn. He was a great star there. Dan just pointed out he won the Outland Trophy, the Lombardi Trophy, and how hard does he have to work? And he's done it all. And Joe Gibbs said they have seen nothing of that in training camp. He's been diligent, hard-working, and has a great shot of making this ball club, perhaps even as a starter, a little later on in the season.
They want him to rock around the clock is what it amounts to. 3rd down and 6, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Hassan Jones at the goal line. He'd gotten position on Barry Wilburn, but Wilson can't get it there, and the Vikings will have to settle for 3.
Rock around the clock.
Yeah, well, you might say. Dan's going to break into song here in a moment.
No, why not? Let's watch Charlie Mann working against Tim Irwin. Charles Mann. He doesn't like to be called Charlie, but it's just a term of affection, Charles.
Good move to the inside against Irwin.
Well, he's been doing that all night against Irwin. Charles Mann, one of the fine pass rushers in this league, and much better at playing the run than one might think. And Tim Irwin needs to work on that. Needs to work on that inside move.
And the real leader in this ball club now.
Chuck Nelson, 31-yard field goal attempt is no good. Normally, Nelson very accurate from inside 40. Doesn't kick from much distance, and this time wide to the left. Vikings come up empty, 10-0 Redskins. 9:39 to go in the half.
With its 24-valve V6 engine, double overhead cams, and 220 horsepower, the Ford Taurus SHO isn't for everyone. In fact, only a select number will experience this sport interior and performance suspension. Ford Taurus SHO. Power in the hands of a fortunate few.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings during the official Ford clearance.
First came the collapse, then the plague. There were rumors of a cure, of a final battle for the future. And Jean-Claude Van Damme is the ultimate weapon in Cyborg. Coming September 20th on video.
Road Handler treadlocks. Test them for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest tires you've ever owned, Sears will buy them back. Great low prices every day. Road Handler Tough. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
As long as I've known Tom, I need help, he's there. Sure, I'm glad to see you. Stay with you? Figured you wouldn't mind.
And when the last stray's rounded up, you head for the mountains. Bush. And the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream.
Sure owe you one. How about this in here?
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Hello, I'm Keith Jackson. Join us for a primetime special. The Fighting Illini of Illinois, USC Trojans, season premiere, ABC's College Football, Monday night, September 4th.
In Minneapolis, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. Monday night preseason football. Washington with the ball. 9:39 to go. First half, Skins ahead 10-0 from the 20-yard line. Humphreys throwing for Orr, who makes the catch and loses the ball at the 39-yard line, and the head linesman comes in to say incomplete.
He never had control of it, apparently, because the head linesman was looking right at him. He had his back to our camera.
What's that mean?
Sanford Rivers.
Well, it's their preseason also.
Well, how about if we look right at him and we'll make up our minds? Did he have possession? Did he have the ball and both feet on the ground? There's Terry Orr.
Is he controlling it?
He's not controlling it yet.
And it's loose.
Well, I can see how the official ruled it that way. I could see how he ruled it that way. He did not have it when he took the first lick.
He never did get control of it from our first camera shot. It looked as though he did, although it was pretty thoroughly blocked. They're looking at it again.
Well, for the moment, the Viking offense and the Redskin defense comes out. But the officials are saying, hold everything, guys. Tommy Kramer, by the way, will be the Viking quarterback if Minnesota gets the football.
Brad Edwards was a defensive back, number 27.
By replay, the play stands. We had a completion, fumble, Minnesota's ball, first down.
If anyone deserves credit for keeping the ball as a loose ball, it was Brad Edwards, number 27, who came in and put his shoulder right on the ball.
So it's ruled a catch and a fumble. And now Minnesota with Tommy Kramer taking over at the 38-yard line. Gives it to Alfred Anderson. And Anderson gets it to the 22-yard line. And a marker goes down.
Kramer was hot last week against Kansas City. 9 of 11, 165 yards, a couple of touchdowns.
That's going to go against Minnesota. Negating the play. Would have been a 16-yard pickup instead.
Holding, number 64, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Randall McDaniel, second-year man out of Arizona State.
Who's really had a fine night blocking. Randall McDaniel, a former #1 choice, has really proven himself to be one of the better pulling and blocking on the run guards in the NFL. Wearing the fashionable dark visor.
10-yard penalty, ball at the 48-yard line, first down and 20. Kramer with a ton of time. Shoots one to the near side. It's caught there by Delaney. Takes it to the 25 and a first down. Jared Delaney, a 23-yard pickup. Manuski and Mims covering on the play. So again, Delaney getting the start tonight. If you joined us late, Anthony Carter is still a holdout. Naturally, he and Hassan Jones are their key men. Jim Gustafson, another wide receiver, is hurt as well. So Delaney getting a chance to shine.
Kramer with a free shot at Delaney as Carl Mims slips and falls. He's the cornerback. And Kramer held it just long enough to make sure he was going to get a good shot.
Oh, and a good shot.
Dangerous one.
Right on the right knee. Marcus Cook fell in right on the right knee of Kramer. Washington Redskins have been forced to take a timeout. Looks like they had some personnel problems.
Barry Wilburn shaken up. He'd been working at free safety, and he'll sit down for a while.
Wilburn goes to the bench. Preseason football continues next week. A week from tonight, we'll be at the Superdome in New Orleans. A chance to take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals, who routed Detroit over the weekend, and the New Orleans Saints. 8 o'clock Eastern time, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific next Monday. And then, of course, the regular season begins at RFK Stadium on the night of Monday, September 11th, when the Washington Redskins host the New York Giants at 9 Eastern time. Great way to begin our 20th season.
Indeed it is, and there's nothing that is quite as exciting as that opening night in RFK Stadium. Great fans there. They get into it. They rattle that stadium around. You feel like you're in the game in the broadcast booth. Ken, you're not doing a fight that night, are you?
No, it's one of the rare weekends where I don't pull double duty.
Oh, you haven't heard yet?
I don't know. I may have to call a fight that night. Opening night tensions are a little high for these players.
Yep. We didn't know you were doing a fight. We thought you were in Morocco.
Yeah, I was in Morocco, all right.
Did you go over on the Concorde or what, for Mount's party?
Actually,
yes.
I had a good time in Norfolk. Good town, great boxing environment. You know, they don't have a pro sports franchise in Norfolk. They don't have a basketball team or a football team. Their pro sports franchise is Pernell Whitaker.
Yes.
And you get 6,500 or 7,000 people in the scope for a fight, and it is electric. It's fun to be there.
He dominated that fight. He didn't have to be concerned about a problem.
Just to update an item in the NFL. We mentioned before, as of today, Reggie White had still not come to terms with Philadelphia. Now we understand the word we're getting. Reggie White and the Eagles have reached an agreement in principle.
Big principle.
Yes. At the 25-yard line. Kramer to the near side, and the catch is made at the 18-yard line by Alfred Anderson.
I guarantee you that principle will draw some interest. Reggie White wanted big money. Did Alfred Anderson have control of this pass? We're getting some good looks. We're getting to warm up for the regular season.
Hey,
both
Kramer.
feet. Let's see. Alfred Anderson. There's no question both feet are down, but he's bobbling that ball.
They're going to look at it, too.
Alfred Anderson, it didn't appear that he had good, clean possession of the ball as he crossed the sideline marker.
Well, they look again. Just a quick thought about Tommy Kramer's arm, and this is his 13th year. See, he really rippled that out there.
He is bobbling as he steps across the line.
But you know, without instant replay in the old days, that's always a catch. That is always a given. He didn't drop it. He kept control of it. He made a good play. And now through the ability to slow it down, stop it, put it under a microscope and look at it, we may just take that away from Alfred Anderson.
Busy night for George Slatke, the replay official.
Yeah, we're all getting a chance to warm up for that opening weekend. It's just a couple weeks away.
After review by replay, the play stands. Second down.
See, I agree with that. I agree with that. You hate to get too much into a nitpicking mood with that instant replay.
He slows a game down when you get 3 or 4 in a row, doesn't it?
We've had a bunch tonight. Second down and 3. Kramer after stumbling, and then Jones, did he have possession of that?
It doesn't matter. No.
Raven Caldwell intercepts and takes it back to the 20-yard line.
We don't even have to look at that.
Doesn't matter. Hassan Jones just had it squirted away right in his hands, and out it comes, and Washington gets it back.
Hassan Jones was the movement guy. He came in from the wing and came into the pit, cut upfield.
Tommy's saying, what more can I do? He put it right in there. Had a good drive going. There's Jones. He took his eyes off it very quickly. He was looking around to see where he could get running room. Tossed the ball up in the air, and Caldwell, who is replacing Mel Coughlin, who retired at linebacker, comes up with the interception.
And that'll have to go into the books as an interception. That's a tough one for Tommy Kramer.
Bill Kenny is now in the game and gives it to Biner, and number 51, David Howard, is right there to bust it up.
David Howard on that weak side may have found himself a new position. He's looked good tonight.
So Bill Kenny, as you see Howard, who makes the last play. Kenny came over from Kansas City. He's one of 4 quarterbacks now for Washington, but of course the big mystery is Doug Williams. Can he play? When will he play? And the rest, we're going to see Rippon to finish the game tonight. There's Williams. Because of the bad back, he has not practiced. And he's on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So Kenny comes over from Kansas City, and on 2nd and 15, he hits Orr out of the 21-yard line, just about the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and about 10 coming up.
Kenny's in his 11th year, and Kansas City's been down for so long that he's not been around much on national television, but he had some good years out with Kansas City, originally drafted by Miami and then traded to Washington, and they cut him in '78, and he had a Pro Bowl year back in 1983. But he went through some tough years out there, and as a free agent signed with the Redskins August the 4th. Could be a good, solid veteran backup.
3rd down and 9 at the 22-yard line. Pressure from Noga, but he can't get to him, and then he tries to sidearm it for Biner under pressure and incomplete. So a rough first series for Kenny as he takes over for Humphreys, and Williams looks on from the sideline. 6:48 remaining in the half.
And Doug Williams hurt his back on a treadmill and still is unable to take snaps, throwing the ball gently on the sidelines, but still not determined how long he's going to be out.
Well, he's a long way away. When you're just 3 weeks away from the regular season, all you can do is play catch with someone 5 or 10 yards away. You're a ways away.
Greg Horns first kick. Bounces at the 41-yard line, and that'll look real good on the stat sheet because he gets a 19-yard bounce out of it.
That's no 60%er, is it?
No, sir. It's a 57-yard boot. 6:34 to go, first half.
There's an enemy in your car's engine. Friction. Without the right motor oil, friction can damage your engine and send it to an early grave. You need the special quality of Pennzoil motor oil. Pennzoil exceeds the API's highest standards for maximum protection against friction. Conquer the enemy friction with the world-class protection of Pennzoil.
Introducing the Adidas Torsion basketball shoe. Moves the way your foot moves. Created with one thing in mind: winning. If you really want it, you can. Adidas Torsion.
Now, during the official Ford clearance, get low 2.9% financing or up to $1,000 cash bonus on Ford Ranger. Get 2.9 financing or $750 on Bronco 2. Plus, get up to $750 on select F-Series pickups. Combine the cash with option package discounts and save over $2,200 on Ranger, over $2,900 on Bronco 2, and over $3,200 on big pickups. Just some of the great values at your Ford dealer now during the official Ford clearance.
Who on earth could assemble in one place television journalists of such unprecedented talent and intelligence? Who indeed? But ABC News, we're America's choice.
Next time we come back here, Deerdorf can really play Santa Claus, huh?
Jingle bells, Christmas night.
Can you imagine that? We will be here Monday night, December 25th, the Cincinnati Bengals.
I'd like to thank Commissioner Roselle for that schedule.
Yes.
We're all delighted to be here.
And our wives as well, no doubt about that.
Linda's thrilled, I
Oh,
understand.
yeah, Kathy, I'm sure, and Debbie are doing dances as well.
Oh, yeah,
Kathy's going to ship out on her boat.
Well, at least we had the nerve to tell our wives.
Mine still doesn't know.
Linda had to find out from a second party.
From the 21-yard line as Minnesota takes over. Kramer, incomplete. Wilburn is there diving for it, but can't come up with it. Active night for Barry. It'll be second down and 10. You know, we're kidding about the Christmas night game, but that could be a very, very big game with Minnesota playing Cincinnati.
Well, two teams that you would assume are virtual locks to be in the playoffs, but the thing of it is, with one of them from the NFC, one of them from the AFC, you could have ramifications that fall all the way down, affecting 3 or 4 or 5 other teams. Division winners, wild card teams. Could be a lot of fun.
It's still Christmas night.
Second and 10. Short drop by Kramer. Then on a slant, he hits Delaney for a first down out to the 35-yard line.
Well, Frank, it's like good news and bad news. 99.9% of the country will be at home watching the game. We'll be here.
Yep. As far as the schedules are concerned, there's the early part of the schedule for both teams, Bears and Vikings, both in the NFC Central. As you see, the Vikings with Houston and Chicago, their first 2 games against very tough opponents, and then they're a little soft there, weeks 3 through 7, a chance to do quite well.
Now, if 99.9% of the country is home watching the game, what kind of rating is that?
From the 35-yard line, Kramer again hits Delaney, and Delaney breaks it free, gets inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. Trying to win a job, number 17, Jared Delaney out of TCU.
Not a free agent out of TCU. He lettered all 4 years down there. Nothing terribly outstanding. Vikings were able to get him as a free agent. Into tonight, only 1 reception last week against Kansas City, but Tommy Kramer is a streak passer. He fires that in there on the slant between the linebackers, and if he gets the hot hand, he can really pour it to you like he did last week against Kansas City, 9 of 11. But this is a good move by Delaney.
Well, how exciting for Delaney to play for a team whose nickname is the Vikings. Such a dominating name. He's been a horned frog for the last 4 years. No wonder the guy's motivated.
From the 28-yard line, Kramer, there's Delaney, but no, Delaney is out of bounds. No catch.
And there's a college receiver who maybe could have made a little better effort to get both feet in bounds. He was a little lackadaisical on the sidelines, and you wonder if maybe he didn't think, reverting back to college where you only have to have 1 foot in bounds.
As Mims laying way off a moment ago, he fell on another completion.
See how
he's slow, but again, he's got the foot on that line. You can't have it there.
And that's where you'll see that professional receiver makes a great effort to drag that foot back. You can't take a long stride anywhere near the sideline. That's just inexperience, but Jared Delaney giving the look of a guy that's going to overcome that. Looking awful sharp.
2nd and 10 from the 28-yard line. Kramer hits Anderson. He gets inside the 15, the 10, taken down at the 5-yard line.
Hey, and Delaney comes back and makes a block for Anderson. He comes back and gives Anderson another 4 or 5 yards.
Anderson got himself locked up on Brian Bonner, a linebacker. Tough for a linebacker to cover a back out of the backfield. There's Delaney looking for a spot on the football team. Good block, and it springs Anderson 4 extra yards down to the 5.
I think that was Carl Mims, a cornerback, that he came back in. Yeah, that's number 26, Mims. Nice play by Delaney. Immediately looks for a guy, puts him on the ground. Hey, he gives Anderson another 7 or 8 yards. Not 4 or 5. Mr. Delaney having himself a series here.
As is Tommy Kramer, who's already thrown for over 100 yards. He's 5 out of 8. Tommy off the play fake, a ton of time, but then he overshoots the intended receiver, Paul Jokic.
He did that on purpose, Al.
Good play by Wilburn for free safety to get over there to force Kramer to get rid of the football.
That's just a good play by Tommy Kramer. A veteran quarterback doesn't force the ball on the 5-yard line. You're in scoring position.
Oh, you're patient. You got a first down. He knows he's got 3 more to work with.
Yeah, your people are covered. A lot of time on the clock.
Look at Wilburn, 45.
That's either caught by Jokic with an all-star catch, or it's an incompletion. It is not going to be caught by a Washington Redskin.
2nd and goal, ball at the 5. Out of the shotgun, inside handoff goes to Rice, their short yardage specialist. And he gets about half the distance to the goal inside the 3 with 3:40 to play in a first half in which Washington leads 10-0.
Get the 3 tight ends now in for Minnesota. Carl Hilton, who just recently signed, number 82 comes in. Ingram, the rookie from University of California, number 86 is in there. Well, they'll give you a short yardage run looking set. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will. Not bad time for play action.
3rd and goal. Go to the outside, and Anderson gets nowhere, and there's a flag thrown. Marcus Cook was there.
Well, so was Alvin Walton, maybe the best run support strong safety in the National Conference.
They're a little early.
And this is going against the Redskins, but Alvin Walton, talk about forcing the play at the point of attack.
2 flags down on the play.
I always thought the 2 hardest hitting strong safeties in the National Conference were Leonard Smith with Phoenix, who's now with Buffalo, and Alvin Walton.
Illegal substitution penalty, 12 men on the defense, half the distance, still 3rd down.
That's a good way to stop him. We just took a look at another hard-hitting safety, a former one. There he is, Richie Pettibon.
Here they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How come we didn't see that?
The Dirty Dozen. 3rd and goal. Just outside the 1-yard line. Rice, He is stopped by number 99, Tracy Rocker.
They're not bad with 11. Rocker, he's 6'3", 290 pounds, the rookie from Auburn.
And the boos are for this man. Not so much because he missed his last field goal, but because of the decision by Jerry Burns.
In mind, it's preseason, too, and they're looking at different things. I don't think we would have seen the same calls by Bob Schmelker, the offensive coordinator, had we been in a regular season game. They want to look at certain patterns, certain people doing certain things on different situations.
Well, then let me ask you this. In this situation, you know Chuck Nelson could kick field goals.
Why not take it?
Yeah, wouldn't this be a great opportunity to go ahead and run another goal line play against a good team?
Bucky Scribner, the punter, is also the holder as Nelson boots it straight through, and Minnesota finally gets on the scoreboard.
think maybe they might do something like that, but he missed a short one a while ago, and so let's get him back on the right track. That's what preseason is all about. Combinations of people looking at different things you want to get ready for the season. Sometimes it's puzzling to the fan looking on, equally puzzling to us at times.
I think the fans have come to understand it. A few years ago, it perhaps had a little bit more importance before teams started completely selling out of the National Football League. When you used to have a lot of tickets available to be sold, it was important to a degree to come up with a good preseason record, but with everybody pretty much sold out of the NFL these days, the fans being more sophisticated, they understand what preseason football is all about.
Well, Al, where the league really, I thought, was smart in catering to the fans is when back in the 70s, they went from the 6 preseason game, 14 regular season game package to only 4 preseason games and 16 regular season games. You're still playing 20 football games, but now you only got to sit through 4 of the preseasons rather than a half a dozen.
And Frank, you remember, of course, in the 50s and early 60s when you'd play only a 12-game regular season and 6 preseason games.
And we started with 12 games, and we were played sometimes 6 preseason games. And remind you that Jim McMahon will be joining Lynn Swann at halftime. McMahon's on the West Coast, San Diego. A lot of people thought that was going to happen early in the spring. Bears finally got around to it, resolved, perhaps, as Dan mentioned a while ago, a lot of problems for all the parties.
It's still not the same in Chicago, though.
Nelson's kick bouncing at the 10-yard line, and then Grant is Bell taking it on a hop and brings it back out to the 19-yard line with 2:08 remaining, and there's a penalty marker down back at the 35-yard line, which would normally indicate that somebody came across the line before the ball was kicked.
Yeah, they might want to return that again. Grantis Bell only got back to the 20, and somebody spiked him.
You know, I want to get back to what I was saying about Chicago. I'm not criticizing
Offside.
Mike Ditka's trade.
Number 45, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, re-kick
Of Jim McMahon to San Diego. That may turn out to be an outstanding move for the Bears and an outstanding move for the Chargers as well. But you gentlemen will have to agree with me that what happened with the Chicago Bears in 1985, 1986, 1987, it has been a long time since a football team has so captivated America the way the Chicago Bears have the last 5 or 6 years of the National Football League. And, of course, the guy who was leading that, granted a strong supporting cast of characters, the Refrigerator and Walter Payton and Gary Fensick all the way down the line. But Jim McMahon was the guy who was most visible out front, the symbol of that team.
I would still have a lot of colorful people around, and I agree there. I mean, the 2 questions you go into every year was, when will Jim get hurt and when will he be back? I watched him up here against Minnesota in, what was it, 86 or 1985. He wasn't supposed to play, and Ditka said only as a desperation move. Bears got down by 9. Off the bench came McMahon in the 3rd quarter. Bears win the game big. First 2 passes, touchdowns.
And seemingly every week, one story or another out of Chicago for a number of years. Nelson's kick fielded at the 6-yard line, and this is Joe Mickles running it back. Good-looking rookie running back who takes it all the way out to the 44-yard line. Mickles, a rookie out of Mississippi, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning, which comes with officially 1:57 to go in the half at the Metrodome, and Washington leading Minnesota by a touchdown.
I'm telling you, she sold my house just like that. Dorothy Thompson, Century 21.
They listened to me, so they knew what I wanted.
Century 21? Yeah, my broker sold my house, and I wasn't even in town.
The Century 21 system sells more homes than anybody else because we have more experience than anybody else. But don't take our word for it. Ask a friend.
Come with us. She found us a house with the pool and everything. I'm going to live here forever. Century 21.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park, like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford. A Motorcraft spark plug has to fire 500 times a minute. Over its life, that's a spark 5 miles long. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
like me are doing our part to help fight muscular dystrophy. And you can too. With every Budweiser or Bud Light you buy through Labor Day, you'll help make a contribution. So come on, join the team.
The great names, the classic moments, the incredible plays. Join the celebration. ABC's Monday Night Football 20th Anniversary Special, September 11th.
Mark Rippon, who will be the third Redskin quarterback. He's got his helmet on right now, but he won't be in until the second half. Bill Kenny takes over at the 43-yard line, directing his second drive, 1st and 10 for Washington with 1:57 to play in the half, and Kenny's pass is caught at the Minnesota 47-yard line by Carl Harry out of Utah. Clock running with 1:45 to go in the half.
Kenny stayed in that pocket, threw it out of a crowd. I don't think he even saw Harry when he released it. He's got Vikings all over in front of him, steps back into the pocket, open the right side. Big right tackle stands up in front of him and still gets it in there for the completion.
Al Noga in there again. He's had another strong half for Minnesota.
First down Washington at the Viking 47, and again Kenny gets decked by Tim Newton as he releases. Younger brother, as we mentioned, of Nate the Kitchen Newton.
Not a whole lot of altitude on him, 6 feet tall, but he goes about 275 and very quick.
Joe Bugle, the assistant head coach of the Redskins, in charge of the offensive line, and one look at this and you know why he's yelling. Newton just takes a little flare pass rush to his right and doesn't even get touched. Joe Bugle suffering some severe indigestion right about now. The father of the Hogs.
2nd and 10. Kenny with Harry out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Brad Edwards with good coverage on the play.
Again, Bill Kenny showing all the instincts of a wily, crafty veteran. Been around 11 years, steps back into the pocket. And that was one that could have come down as a completion. Very close.
That was fine concentration by Carl Harry. I mean, really looking the ball in. That's the type of situation where it's impossible to know where you are on the sideline when you have to turn around over your shoulder and look back at the ball like that. But superb concentration by Harry, even catching the ball.
Little guy we saw in the Hall of Fame game. Now, little guy, 5'9", 168-pounder out of Utah, Carl Harry.
Here comes the blitz again.
Third
Dolman.
And sacked at the 47-yard line.
Chris Dolman goes all the way upfield. Good hustle by Dolman, works his way all the way upfield and comes in from behind. He's working against Jimmy Johnson, a tight end who stays in to try to block him.
Is that what he did?
Dolman works a long way and runs hard to get there. And really, that's just a situation where Kenny has to realize some of the blocking he has taking place around him and can't sit in the pocket that long.
And since Minnesota will get the ball after the punt, the Vikings conserve some time here by taking a timeout. They have one remaining, and we have 1:07 left on the clock in the first half at the Metrodome. Washington on top 10-3. Two very unproductive series thus far for Kenny, who's had no time.
And that may be what Joe Gibbs is talking about, though, on that one, though, that you did have time. You're in a position where it's a second and long situation, a third and long situation, rather. You can't sit in there for 5 seconds, and that's really about how long it took for Chris Dolman to go all the way around the corner and get back in on that play.
And, of course, Dolman got an assist from downfield. Isaac Colt knocked off the #1 receiver that Kenny was looking for, Stephen Hobbs. He had no place to put it.
Greg Horn, who got a good bounce the last time he put one in the air. Good high kick, and a fair catch is called for at the 16-yard line. And there is some contact, but incidental, and thus there is no flag as Anthony Allen makes the catch after a 37-yard punt. A reminder, coming up Sunday here on ABC Sports, America's best amateur golfers will be teeing it up to decide the national champion. Same-day coverage of the 1989 U.S. Amateur. from the Marion Golf Club in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. That's this Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific.
Have you qualified for that yet, Frank?
No, that game is destroying my life.
Frank takes mulligan putt.
I should. My only chance of getting there is a caddy.
You can carry the entire foursomes bag. At the 16-yard line, it's Kramer. Throwing for Anderson on the screen with some blocking, and he turns it into a big gainer, and he's finally run out of bounds by Wilburn at the 40-yard line.
Kirk Loudermilk, the center, out in front, and boy, did he time his block well. A center likes to get out in front. Kirk Loudermilk that time is going to make a hit at the line of scrimmage and then flow all the way down the line of scrimmage and get out and make the block. Here's Loudermilk right here. Watch him make contact at the line, float down, and then make the kick out right out here. Good play. Stops his man, turns him loose over to his guard, gets out front, and right there takes out a pair of Redskins. Good play by the fifth-year center, rather, from Ohio State. Fine play.
1st and 10 out of the shotgun. Vikings have one timeout left. Again, set up the screen for Nelson. Nelson gets to the 50 and is dropped at the 48-yard line inbounds, so the clock continues to run, and now the Vikings are forced to take their final timeout.
Darren Nelson might have been better advised to not pick up the first down, which he did, which wasn't terribly necessary, but he could have got out of bounds and stopped the clock.
Hey, Loudermilk did it again. He got out there and made a play on the outside guy and then came back in. I think it was Clarence Vaughn. Then he came back in and got a little nudge on Tracy Rocker that kept Rocker from getting in on the play. Here it is again. Look at Loudermilk. There he shoves Clarence Vaughn to the outside, now he's going to get back up, and he actually clips the thigh of Tracy Rocker and almost puts him down on the ground. Back-to-back screen plays. That's enough to get a center huffing and a puffing. He needs a straight-ahead dive here to catch his breath.
He's not going to get it. No. With 37 seconds and no timeouts.
Tommy Kramer, we talked about earlier, the quarterback for the Vikings now, a streaky quarterback. He was led the NFL back in 1986 and a good quarterback, but if he had an Anthony Carter in there, a Steve Jordan, the two holdouts for the Vikings, he could make this 37 seconds remaining in the first half very exciting.
From the shotgun. Line of scrimmage to 48, and the pass is too high over the middle. Intended for Anthony Allen. Clock down to 32 seconds.
One distinction we need to make between Anthony Carter and Steve Jordan is that Anthony Carter has a contract and is holding out. He wants to renegotiate. Steve Jordan is unsigned. He does not have a contract at the moment, and so he's holding out, but he has every right to hold out because he doesn't have a signed contract.
And they will not negotiate until he comes into camp, so we're kind of at loggerheads at the moment. That you feel with only a couple of weeks remaining before this season starts, you feel that's going to happen very quickly here in Minnesota.
That's Carter they won't negotiate with. Jordan can't come to camp until he signs.
And Browner as well falls into Carter's category. On 2nd and 10, a leaping catch is made at the 30-yard line by Allen, and Allen does get out of bounds, and that is important because it stops the clock with 25 seconds, and again, the Vikings do not have a timeout left.
Allen, you mentioned earlier, Al was a Redskin a year ago, was unprotected, came to these Vikings, but as a replacement player during the strike, he caught 255 yards worth of passes in one game against the Cardinals. I don't care who you're playing against, that's pretty good. Went up high, came down with it, and rolled. He knew he had to get out of bounds. Spins and gets it out, stops the clock.
Delaney split left, Jones split right. Going deep for Jones, open, touchdown.
All right, T. Kramer.
And you know what? When Hassan Jones caught that ball, a perfect look at what a pro wide receiver does instinctively to get both feet down. First of all, it's a beautiful strike from Tommy Kramer. But then Hassan Jones, even though he's well in the field of play, a good lesson here for Jared Delaney to watch what Jones does with his feet. Just a post pattern all the way. Hassan Jones beats the defense badly. Wilburn not in contention to make the play, and the Vikings, after getting mauled early, in a position now to tie it up.
Good call by Bob Schnelk on the sideline, too. You've got a man playing a new position out there. Wilburn at free safety. You go with the one veteran receiver you have on the field, Hassan Jones. 6 points.
Chuck Nelson's extra point is good. With 20 seconds remaining in the half.
There's Bob Schnelker right there, and you're right, Frank. That is a good call to isolate a man out of position. No Redskin pass rush at all. Tommy Kramer had plenty of time. Boy, that's pretty. Look at that ball. Turnover. And Hassan Jones just clips the feet down and has plenty of room to spare.
2 fine quarterbacks remain here at Minnesota. Tommy Kramer in his 13th year. Wade Wilson, who led the NFC last year to the Pro Bowl. A little bit of a controversy a year ago, and they seemingly have settled that. Maybe Kramer's lighting it up all over again. He was hot last week against Kansas City, but Wade Wilson recently signed a new contract for about $1 million a pop for 4 years, so you would assume he's number one. Tommy wants to renegotiate his, so Mike Lynn's going to be busy up here.
With Doug Williams out for the Redskins, you'd be hard-pressed to find a team with 2 more contrasting tales of their quarterbacks than the Vikings and the Redskins. You know, for the Redskins, you've got Rippon, and you've got Humphreys, and you've got Kenny, who's really not in the picture. There's Doug Williams, not very much in the picture either, behind the back judge. But really, you've got 2 relatively inexperienced quarterbacks trying to move up in Washington, and you couldn't have more experience with the Vikings.
I'd say the only way Kenny would be in the picture would be if Williams couldn't play. Let's say he needed surgery or just couldn't make it to the post this year, and Humphreys just didn't have it. Then you go with Rippon, and you need a veteran to back him up, theoretically. Nelson. Kick fielded at the 7-yard line. Joe Mickles brings it back out to the 20 with just a few ticks of the clock remaining in the first half. A long half at the Metrodome with a score tied 10-10. Again, in the second half, we figure to see a bit more of Tommy Kramer. And then they're going to wrap it up with quarterback number 3, Rich Gannon. And we're going to see a little bit of Kenny, we would suspect, in the second half. And then they'll wrap it up with Mark Rippon. And the Redskins content to just keep it on the ground, and that should do it. But it's a fumble at the 23-yard line. But no fumble is the ruling.
Oh, no,
yes, they are.
The
now
ball.
they are. They're simply spotting the ball at the 22. Ernest Biner. And Al Noga is the man who comes up with it.
Noga
the
having
official
quite
pointing
a
at the
night.
ground, but just pointing to the spot where they will take over, the 22-yard line.
Watch from the left of your screen. I think that's Scott Studwell that comes in and strips the ball. It is. Studwell gets the right hand on the ball and knocks it cleanly out. And there is Al Noga, just smothers the football. Good play that time by Scott Studwell, getting in there and really putting the right hand on the ball and knocking it out.
And without a timeout, they'll elect to try a field goal from the 29-yard line, a 39-yard attempt for Nelson.
Oh, what a strange game this is.
Scribner to hold. And the kick is long enough, but wide to the left. Just wide to the left.
Second one, then he's hooked. Lonely job out there. You walk off, they're booing you. You go to the sidelines, try to get it back together again. Nobody looks at you.
Not as loudly as they would boo during the regular season, though. Clearly a preseason boo by the Metrodome crowd here.
That's a nice Midwestern crowd.
It won't be nice if Mr. Nelson starts whiffing on these in the month of September.
So Nelson makes one from 20, misses 2 from 31 and 39. And now the first half comes to an end with the Redskins running out the final couple of seconds. And the teams head back after the first 30 minutes of action in Minneapolis with the game tied 10-10. And back we come. ABC's Monday Night Football resumes after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station.
I'm Mark May of the Washington Redskins. And I want to show you a miracle that's happening right here in the National Capital area. A miracle that I've seen as United Way volunteer. Just off Route 4 in Maryland, passers-by stop to purchase the beautiful potted plants, flowers, and shrubs that are grown here at Melwood Nursery. Here is an award-winning program that trains developmentally disadvantaged citizens and then places them in jobs as groundkeepers and horticulturalists. Here, these often forgotten people learn and grow through this United Way supported program. Millions pass by these national monuments every day and appreciate the beauty in the flowers and the landscape. But the real beauty here is from the people of Melwood and you who give the United Way. Together, we can make these little miracles come true. Because the United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Thursday.
We got the makings of a gang war.
A man called Hawk. Then, drive a wedge between Bigwig and Bodyguard to break a blackmail ring.
Sometimes friends become expendable.
You're setting me up.
Mission impossible.
John Riggins, why did you switch from Ford to Chevy? Was it the low 2.9% financing on everything from Camaros to Cavaliers? I'll bet it was the $1,000 cash back on Corsica that made you switch. Maybe it was the $500 cash back on your full-size pickup. Why did you switch?
Because today's Chevrolets are just plain better.
See your Washington area Chevy Geo dealers today.
Let's say your little angel tries to flush 1,000 toy soldiers down the toilet. Quick, use the new one-book yellow pages. With listings from A to Z, you'll have a plumber before the water's up half an inch max. Try C and P's yellow pages, you got 2 books. See, of which you can only ever find one. The wrong one. And by the time you find a plumber under P, you'll need a diver under D. Who wants to wade through all of that? Military academies.
The One Book. It's just like the old yellow pages, only better. The assignment.
He's all yours. I think you're going to prison, Walter. You don't know where I'm going.
The deception.
I lost my package. A prisoner I was bringing back from Germany.
The conspiracy.
Gallagher knows too much. He has to be eliminated. This is insane.
What you got yourself into? The third team's playing with bigger hitters.
You looking for him? Who pays you? Everybody pays me.
Gene Hackman. The Package. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 25th at theaters everywhere.
First charges in abduction and rape cases, right after Monday Night Football.
Welcome to the Lexus Halftime Report, brought to you by Lexus High Performance Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. Here's your host, Frank Gifford.
Back in the Metrodome in Minneapolis, good football game. Washington and Minnesota, good hard-hitting game between two tough teams. It's tied at 10 at halftime. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and if you were with us during the course of the first half, you know that we talked frequently about the trade this past week, Jim McMahon to San Diego, a trade that many of us thought would take place early in the spring. It did not, but it did this past week, so the 3-ring circus in Chicago is down to 2 rings. Jim McMahon, a San Diego Charger. Let's go to San Diego now, and Lynn Swan. Lynn, take it away.
Thank you, Frank. As much as Chicago will miss Jim McMahon, San Diego welcomes him, and he will bring far more than just talent to this football team. His personality and attitude seem to wash over an entire team. He is controversial, he is free-spirited, he is challenging, but he's willing to accept all of the above. So while the Windy City is now part of his past, Jim McMahon intends to stir the breeze a bit here in San Diego.
On the night I arrived, my daddy said, "Sakes alive, it's the meanest one that we've had yet." Teased on tin and mean on gin, I was nobody's teacher's pet. I grew up rough and mean in my early teens, said I didn't want to go to school. I called no man sir, and word was a dirty word. Vegas people breaking the rules.
That he's been instrumental in the success this club has had through the 80s. He's been a very colorful character. He's been loved by a lot of people, and rightfully so.
That's the story of my life. Yeah, doing things wrong is my way of doing things right.
He's a good friend of mine. We grew real close for the last 5 years, but it's a business,
And, you know, you got to look at it realistically.
Now when I'm gray and old and my story's told, I know what the people will say. They'll be glad to see me go.
Jim brought a lot of things with his team. He brought leadership. He was fun. He was crazy. And I'm sure he'll take that to San Diego.
So when you see me come and get away, the ones that didn't wait around today, the sweetest piece of love that any girl ever had, I'm here to tell you boys I was born to be bad. Oh, born to be bad. I was born to be bad.
Joining me now is the man of the hour, Jim McMahon. Jimmy, since 1984, when you were the starter for the Chicago Bears, your record was 35-3, plus you won the Super Bowl for them. People wondering, why would Ditka trade you?
Well, I think a combination of things. I think our personalities, you know, weren't compatible, and also I think the progress the other two quarterbacks made during training camp made me expendable, so they made the deal.
Mm-hmm. Since that Super Bowl, you started 22 out of 48 games, and people always question your durability at that point in time. Was that a factor?
Well, I think that might have had something to do with it, but I think, you know, I played a lot more games than I should have played. I shouldn't have played any more after the first ball game in '86. I kept trying to play with my bad shoulder, and, you know, it just got worse. I had surgery. I had to miss the first half of 1987 because the arm just wasn't ready yet. And then in '88, I thought I was over the hump, and then the ninth ball game, I tore my knee up. So I think I've just had some bad breaks, and hopefully all those are over with.
Why would you play when you're hurt?
I enjoy it. You know, I like to play. You know, this is a fun football game, and I enjoy it very much. And as long as I can get out on the field and think I can contribute, I'm going to play.
The '85 Chicago Bear team was so talented. Everyone thought they would be dominant for a number of years. What happened to that team? Why weren't they as good after that?
Oh, I think we did well the following year. We went 14-2. I think it's the best record anybody's had following a Super Bowl year without getting back to the Super Bowl. You know, we just struggled a little bit in the playoffs. You know, and then we started losing players. Guys, you know, didn't want to pay them, so guys left. And that's probably going to continue to happen in Chicago.
And the game last Saturday, when you played against them, your feelings when you stepped out behind center as a Charger?
Well, that was pretty strange looking across. You know, I mostly played against those guys in practice, and now, you know, I'm playing for a different ball club. It was a good feeling to get in the game and, you know, try to do something for the new team. And I was disappointed I didn't have a touchdown. I had the guy open and underthrew him, but, you know, it was a lot of fun. Today's your 30th birthday, too. Taking some heat? No, nobody really, you know, I got a few happy birthdays today and got to, you know, I practiced today and I thought I did pretty well. I'm trying to grasp as much as I can, as quickly as I can, and hopefully I'll play a lot more Wednesday.
Well, hopefully you'll start your 30s with a great deal of success. Thank you.
At Lexus, we didn't just suppress the engine noise. We suppressed the gear noise, the exhaust noise, the wind noise. And all that was left was the perfect environment for you to create a little noise of your own. Introducing the Lexus LS 400 luxury sedan, the result of our pursuit of perfection.
Well, I'm sitting at home, it's the best seat in the land. Do you know how long I've been a Monday night fan? I remember all the big games, all the trick plays. It's been here for 20 years, and here it's gonna stay. I gotta get ready, make everything right, cause Monday night football's coming on tonight. Are you ready for the football and Monday night party? Hey, this is Rockin' Randall Hank, ready to get the good time started. You gotta hit 'em, gotta dock 'em, get the play call right, cause all my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. Everybody's a fan. Hey, this is the biggest party. Yeah, Frank and Al and Dan, they really got it started. Week after week, it's the time that is right. Oh, my rowdy friends are here on Monday night. Right.
Our newest colleague, Hank Williams Jr. We'll be hearing and seeing a lot of him this coming season. Great football fan, as I mentioned last week. Back to what we talked about at the opening of the game, both teams felt they needed more consistency. Both teams felt they needed to run the ball better. I'm not sure that the Vikings are necessarily answering any questions about their running game, but the one area in which they have a lot of depth, and it's being proven tonight, is at quarterback, because they've got two good ones. Obviously, Tommy Kramer looking very good. He doesn't want to be number 2 without a fight, even though Wade Wilson is number 1 right now. Good air game for them tonight. What about Washington, Dan? They started out so well on the ground.
Well, and I don't see any difference that it shouldn't stay that way. When Washington's number 1 line is in there, I think they can run the football on anybody in this league. Defensively, they've had a good pass rush, but Brian Davis is the story with his 2 interceptions. He's played corner exceptionally well.
Of course, Darrell Riggs is not here. That'll make a big difference when he gets back. He has a slightly pulled hamstring. And, of course, we're going to see these Redskins in the opener on September the 11th. And I mentioned earlier, nothing like RFK Stadium for any kind of a football game, but an opening Monday night game is electric. And 2 very important games for Washington to begin the season, because the 2 teams they'll have to contend with for the NFC East title are their first 2 opponents. They get the Giants and Philadelphia right off the bat. And a couple of tough games, of course, for Minnesota as they begin their season, too.
No, I don't know how we could ask for a better matchup to get it started. And if I was the New York Giants, I'd be working on counter gap right now.
You better believe they are. Okay, the second half is coming up. Good football game. We're glad you're with us. Stay with us, and we'll be back at the Metrodome in Minnesota in just a moment.
One of the reasons you'll find the new Lexus LS 400 luxury sedan so memorable is because it remembers you better than any car in the world. Lexus spent 6 years pursuing consummate luxury. Now the world's luxury car makers may have to pursue Lexus.
The Lexus Halftime Report has been brought to you by Lexus High Performance Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. We'll return for the second half after this word from our ABC station.
Coming this fall, the country was young and wild. And so were they. This fall on ABC, The Young Riders.
Good evening, I'm Jim Harriott with a look at some of the stories we're following during this Monday Night Football Redskins-Vikings halftime. The first charges have been released now in connection with a year-long series of rapes and abductions in Northern Virginia. Authorities are looking at possible ties to the death of young Rosie Gordon. Meanwhile, Alexandria police uncover a bizarre kidnapping plot. That plan reportedly called for kidnapping a boy who was to have been tortured and killed in a pornographic snuff video. In her cover story tonight, Susan King talks with a woman who has hit a high note in her career.
My life, my fears, my...
She may not star on MTV, but Bernice Reagan and her Sweet Honey in the Rock has a cult following. I'm Susan King. Now Bernice Reagan has a genius grant. Why a singer won the MacArthur. Coming up in my cover story.
The Voyager 2 space probe is rushing towards the planet Neptune tonight. These pictures are the latest to reach Earth from that space probe as it closes on the distant planet and its moons. Voyager is expected to pass within 3,000 miles of Neptune Thursday night. But in order to sweep that close to the planet, Voyager 2 has had to make some minor course corrections. In Washington's first Sports at 11, we'll find out how the Orioles did tonight in a first-place battle with the Milwaukee Brewers. And there's more.
This is Frank Herzog in Minneapolis with a reminder. We'll be live from the locker room right after tonight's game on the late edition.
And the weather has had a dual personality, wet and sunny. Jerry?
Well, if the sun's going to make an appearance tomorrow, Jim, it's going to have to break through a lot of clouds. You can see on the satellite shot, thunderstorms well to our south, the heavy action out in the Midwest. Good thing that dome in Minnesota is there because there's a lot of rain out in that part of the world.
Thanks, Jerry. All this and much more tonight on the late edition, following ABC's Monday Night Football, the battle between the Redskins and the Minnesota Vikings. Let's see who comes out on top. Frank Herzog will have all the information about that game and a lot more. See you then.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Get down to Toyota and shake your dealer's head.
It's year-end cleanup time at your Toyota dealer, and deals on trucks have never been better.
Factory incentives up to $1,600 on trucks named #1 in customer satisfaction. Roll out with a 4x4 of the year. Factory incentives plus extra value option packages make it the best time to deal. You want quality without compromise? Shake in a new Toyota truck deal now.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Toyota.
The United States is a peaceful nation. And where our strength and determination are clear, our words need merely to convey conviction, not belligerence. If we are strong, our strength will speak for itself. If we are weak, words will be of no help.
TV, Washington.
He's a genius. He's a doctor.
He can't survive a transplant.
And he's only 16.
I like younger men, Doogie. Could I borrow your car tomorrow night?
No, I'm afraid not, son. From the producer of L.A. Law.
What's that? My pants alarm.
Doogie Howser, M.D.
Is there a doctor in the house?
I have a relationship with a tall, beautiful woman who fortunately is so tall that she can't see what I look like from up there.
I like you very much.
Why not? I'm a wonderful person.
From the producers of Roseanne and The Cosby Show, Chicken Soup.
You're very cute for a basketball player.
Now that man makes me laugh.
Snicker, titter, cackle, or guffaw. Come September, ABC's got all the fun you're looking for.
We're inside the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Washington, and Minnesota. Preseason Monday Night Football, 10-10, as we get set to start the second half. Redskins taking on Miami at RFK this Friday night, so a very short week for Washington. And before we start the second half, we can tell you that ABC's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer, we build excitement. And by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Chuck Nelson to kick off for the Vikings as we start the third quarter. Good deep kick, fielded at the 1-yard line by Joe Mickles. And the rookie out of Mississippi brings it back out to the 21. He is stopped there by Sean Woodson. And Bill Kenny comes in. Joe Gibbs saying yesterday that he was going to break this game down into thirds, roughly 20 minutes of playing time apiece. And that means toward the end of this period, we'll see that man, Mark Rippon, to wrap up the game. We saw Stan Humphries start. Kenny, who was picked up from Kansas City after his long career with the Chiefs, has had a tough time in his 2 series thus far as he starts this series from the 22-yard line. And with Harry in motion, they start on the ground with Ernest Biner taking it out to the 24-yard line. Pickup of 2. And we'll take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes of play.
Keep in mind, at the end of the first quarter, if memory serves me correctly, Minnesota only had like 35 yards in total offense, and here they end up now with 289 at halftime. A fairly productive second quarter for the Minnesota Vikings.
Big numbers for Tommy Kramer in passing, over 200 yards. Much of it on that long drive that culminated in the touchdown as Biner finds some room and works his way out to the 32-yard line and close to a first down. Again, the 2 draft day deals. Biner from Cleveland, Riggs, who's hurt, coming over from Atlanta.
When you talk to Joe Gibbs about these 2 deals, he talks about Gerald Riggs had to have him. Every time we played them, he was an automatic 100 yards against us, and it was Ernest Biner in a big game last year beat Washington 17-13 on a 27-yard touchdown run. Joe Gibbs observed both, picked them both up on draft day.
And let's note those deals were done by Bobby Beathard, who shortly after that left
the Redskins. Charlie Casserly is now the general manager in a high-level switch from the 32-yard line. Biner, there's a marker down, and another one comes out of the secondary. Studwell is there on top of him. And we'll get the call from a busy man, Dick Jorgensen.
We may have multiple fouls. Ooh, Joe Bugle wanting to know he wasn't unhappy with everyone, just someone specifically. And a pair of holding calls against the Washington Redskins. The good news is they'll only mark off one of them, but they will probably announce both.
Holding number 59, offense is accepted. Also, holding number 85, offense is declined. 10 yards and it's still first down.
Well, yeah, there's Don Warren's the veteran, so they'll decline his and charge Harbor with it, Dave Harbor, since he's in only his second season.
Prejudicial treatment here.
Warren's a tight end. They always get the glamour treatment. They stick it to the lineman. It's been that way since the inception of this game.
Oh, the resentment surfacing here.
Listen. First and 20. And it's caught by Jimmy Johnson, the rookie out of Howard, who was taken out of bounds by Darrell Fullington.
And Jimmy Johnson, the rookie tight end, a 12th round draft choice. The Redskins and Joe Gibbs very, very high on this young man. I'd be very surprised if he didn't make the Redskins team. He's leading the team in receptions here during the course of the preseason, and he's built exactly the way the Redskins like their tight ends. 6'2", 246, good run blocker.
Second and 15. Redskins from the 27. Game time 10-10. Early third quarter. Rushes on again. Kenny has no time again, and Biner can't get there to make the catch. And Kenny has spent much of his time in the game in that position. Thomas and Noga came blasting through.
Well, Noga's out playing at left end, and he's really putting the hurt Ed Simmons, the right tackle. Noga just exploding off the line, getting upfield, and right there on Kenny, and of course Thomas from the inside there, just about as fast. But here's a guy that we chronicled his story early about, really had a pretty poor year last year and has come to training camp with a new attitude, and that new attitude is being reflected in how he's playing. Had a strong preseason so far.
Third down 15 from the 27-yard line. Pressure again from Noga. Thomas then knocks him down. The ball is loose.
And that is
out to
a
the
smart
29-yard line, Mark Schlereth.
And that is a smart play by Schlereth. That's a free ball. He's a 10th round draft choice this year, a rookie from Idaho. But again, that man, Al Noga and Henry Thomas again combined to make Kenny, forcing him into a bad play.
He's filling in for an injured Doug Martin. He's playing well. You mentioned a moment ago he had a good night against Kansas City, a big night again here tonight.
Kenny must think he's back in Kansas City. Tootin, low line drive kick. Allen at the 32-yard line and runs it back out to the 43.
Oh, and the crowd moaning and groaning. They thought there was a late hit. I think, was that number 91 of the Skins? Minuski came in there.
A man who could play a lot of middle linebacker for the Redskins. He's looked awfully good in relief of Olkowitz thus far this season. Minuski out of Colgate. He's a free agent. Tough and very mean in there.
Pontiac's excitement countdown is adding up. Count on getting your share of GM's $1 billion in special incentives. It's big, and it's easy. Like up to $1,850 cash back on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Or get 2.9% GMAC financing on these hot new Pontiacs. Count on it. See your local Pontiac dealer when excitement countdown is really adding up.
Frank, I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Because everything else is just a light.
We can live with that. Yeah.
think Bo Jackson's the only guy who can do this stuff?
The last Monday night game of 1988 right here, Bears in Minnesota. Chicago down by a point. Fourth quarter, Mike Tomczak threw, and Walker Lee Ashley intercepted. And his run back, 94 yards, the longest in Viking history, as the Vikings beat the Bears that night, 28-27. And at the Metrodome tonight, a 10-10 tie with Minnesota taking over at the 43-yard line. Tommy Kramer to Darren Nelson, and he gives it to Delaney, and he can't get out of the backfield. A big loss back to the 31-yard line as Darrell Green pursued him and drops him back at the 32-yard line for a loss of 11 yards.
Preseason reverse, that had the blind staggers all over it.
Yeah, it's just the pitch play. The pitch starts right here as he moves this way, then the reverse. But watch how it's set up over here. If only they could get around the defense. What an alley. There's the handoff, and if he could just skirt the corner, look at the convoy going up the sidelines. That would have gone for big, big yardage.
And Darrell Green, a tough man to lose.
Yeah, tough guy to get around the corner.
2nd and 21. Kramer, plenty of time, and incomplete. Good coverage on the play for Davis. Ryan Davis all over Harvard.
Ryan Davis all over everything tonight.
He was that way last year when he filled in until he also was injured. He filled in for Wilburn when Wilburn went down and played about 5 games and played really well. He times this out beautifully. Right there for the coverage. Forces Kramer to lead it further than he wanted to. Kramer reading the good coverage and complete.
3rd down and 21 now from the shotgun at the 32-yard line. Early 3rd period, game tie 10-10. Kramer over the middle of the 50-yard line to Allen, but he is tackled just short of the first down. As they'll spot it at the 49 of the Redskins. Monty Coleman with the coverage.
I guess every year when you get to be Tommy Kramer's age as a quarterback, you have to prove when you come to camp that you still have some life in your arm, that you can still have a little zip on the ball.
Nice smoke that.
A throw like that right up the middle to Anthony Allen proves that there is nothing wrong with number 9's arm.
He hurt his thumb a couple of years ago, and it caused him to change his motion. That resulted in a very sore shoulder for the past 2 years, and this is the first year that he has played without pain in that right shoulder. And he looks at tonight. He is zipping it.
Lucky Scribner's left-footed kick. It is fair caught at the 16-yard line by Joe Howard, picked up the other day on waivers from Buffalo. 34-yard punt, 10 minutes and 33 seconds left in the 3rd quarter in Minnesota.
Fluids and mineral fat. Energy for hard-working muscles. Nothing better.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with the new Die-Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die-Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Pontiac's excitement countdown is adding up. Count on getting your share of GM's $1 billion in special incentives. It's big, and it's easy. Like up to $1,850 cash back on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Or get 2.9% GMAC financing on these hot new Pontiacs. Count on it. See your local Pontiac dealer when excitement countdown is really adding up.
Hey, only a friend is going to tell you, but, you know, hanging out in that monkey suit, well, you're attracting the wrong kind of attention. At a party, you got people offering you deals on kiwi farms instead of plates of hors d'oeuvres. I mean, loosen up. Like, be yourself. Try changing your clothes, for starters. Then, maybe get a dog. A Bouvier, a Shar Pei, something.
The Boomer is Bayou bound. The Cincinnati Bengals head to New Orleans to Cajun the Saints. It's an ABC Monday Night Football preseason special next week.
There's Joe Howard on the sidelines, acquired from Buffalo on waivers just a couple of days ago, just reported yesterday. But you want to see what one of the things about being that new? Look at the back of his jersey. His name is just on there in black tape. Look at Humphreys and Harbor on either side, what it looks like when you have a regular jersey. Poor Joe Howard wearing a disposable jersey. Better make something happen before you even get your name permanently on the back of its shirt.
1st and 10, Washington from the 16-yard line. Again, Kenny under pressure, but this time he gets it away, and it's Jimmy Johnson paying the price after making the catch out of the 24. The other interesting thing about Howard, he's wearing a jersey last worn by a man who had a record-setting day in the Super Bowl, Timmy Smith. Number 36.
Over 200 yards in their route of the Denver Broncos.
Now out in San Diego and nursing, last we heard, a little injury out there.
Never lived up to what we expected to see in Washington, though.
2nd and 2. They left him unprotected, and he was signed by the Chargers. And this is Joe Mickles. After a good run, a fumble out at the 32-yard line, but Washington has it.
Well, that's an unbelievable break for Mickles if it came back to him. And they're saying that it came right back to Joe Mickles. There's no question it was a fumble.
Vikings have other ideas as to who recovered it.
They've already signaled that the ball belonged to Washington. Be a little late to change it now.
Mickles, we watched in the Hall of Fame game and has looked awfully good. Whether or not he'll be able to hold down a job here with the Skins, with Riggs here now and Biner, Jamie Morris, and Reeves looking awfully good, the expatriate from Canada.
Did you see who made that play, Frank? Al Noga again.
He's everywhere.
Noga coming from behind and forcing the fumble.
Mickles had the winning touchdown last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
1st and 10, Washington at the 32-yard line. Kenny off the play fake to buy some time. Completes it to the far side to Sean Beals out of Idaho State.
Al Noga having himself a strong preseason game here tonight. Funny how success breeds success. It's so easy for a young player to get down on himself. Doesn't live up to what he thinks he should be doing. Certainly knows that other people are disappointed in his performance, and it's like a snowball going down a hill. But when you start to enjoy a little success, it's that same snowball ride down the hill. Just feeds on itself. You get stronger and stronger.
2nd down and 3 from the 39-yard line. Mickles trying to win a job. Takes it out to the 42-yard line and very close to a 1st down. Ray Berry, no relation to the New England coach, in on the tackle.
He was a top draft pick of the Vikings, who gave up their one, of course, to get Mike Merriweather. Ray Berry came in the 2nd round pick. He's out of Baylor.
Redskins have it at the 43-yard line. 8:05 to play, 3rd quarter. It's been a scoreless 2nd half. The game remains tied 10-10. Mickles again.
You're looking at some good hard running from Mickles. We saw that in our preseason game. He played well against Pittsburgh. 12th round draft pick. In fact, he was the 2nd 12th round pick of the Redskins out of Mississippi. 210 pounder, about 5'10". Hey, if he doesn't stay with the Redskins, there are a lot of other people looking on tonight. They could use somebody like a Mickles.
Second and 5, ball at the 48-yard line. And they call Mickles' number again as he crosses midfield and comes up just short of the 1st down. Berry in again on the tackle. And it will be 3rd down and 1 for Washington with 7:10 left in the 3rd quarter.
Speaking about other people looking on, the roster cuts a week from tomorrow. Every team now that can field 80 players has to cut to 60, and then we go to the 47 on September the 4th. A lot of players cut loose a week from tomorrow.
3rd and 1, and Washington yet to convert on a 3rd down tonight as they come up in a tight formation. Mickles and Reggie Branch, the running backs, and Branch is in the block for Mickles, who gets to the 47-yard line and I believe has the 1st down. Jorgensen takes a peek, and he may want to bring the chains in. Close enough. Joe Bugle not happy where the ball was spotted.
Yeah, but he likes what he's watching.
Have you guys noticed that patch that the Viking players are wearing on their shoulder pads? There's a good look at it. That's the 40 for 60 slogan that Joe Kapp made famous, talking about his 1969 Viking team that went to the Super Bowl and lost to Kansas City 23-7. This, of course, the 20th anniversary of that 1969 team. And 40 for 60. Back then it was a 40-man roster, and 40 men for 60 minutes.
After a first down, Kenny shoots one out, caught at the 45-yard line by Beals.
Talking to Bob Lurch, he was joking a while ago, said, well, Mike Lynn always thought 47 was 40.
45 plus 2 for 60. Well, one of the local writers with all of the holdouts and guys wanting to renegotiate their contracts said maybe it should be 40 for 40, each guy for himself.
Well, actually, with 4 holdouts, it's 36 for 40.
Right. There they are. Carter and Browner, remember, are signed but want to renegotiate. Jordan and Solomon without contracts.
And what that means is if you're signed, you're subject to being fined by having a contract and not honoring it by being in training camp.
2nd and 6, and Jamie Morris gets wrapped up by Al Noga. Continues to have a big game.
Al Noga, taken in the 3rd round last year, was a tremendous defensive lineman at the University of Hawaii. And we touched on earlier about his older brother, Nico, the linebacker for the Phoenix Cardinals.
Counter gap looks a little different with the different people in there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Got a hiccup in it.
Like any other play, it's not so much the play, it's who's running the play.
3rd and 7 with Beals in motion. Kenny under pressure again from Noga, sacked at the 48-yard line. Huge night.
Preseason Pro Bowl.
Just keep them off special teams.
Well, this is a situation, A-line Noga so far to the outside that he's just taking an upfield rush, and there's our Noga hide again, and that is true. Al Noga coming off the field, and he ought to be a little tired. Here's going to be a good look at it. Here's Noga, the guy closest to you, down in the stands. And I think it's going to be Don Warren, the tight end, that I guess he's supposed to block Noga. He acted like he was supposed to. And here goes about a 20% punt.
Yeah, getting worse and worse. Off the side of his foot and out of bounds. Off the foot of Tootin, who's fighting with Horn.
More of that, he'll be home rooting.
Yeah.
Tootin keeps shooting like that, and he's going to be scooting
real quick. 22-yard kick.
Boy, I'm so ashamed of myself.
You should be.
What is the taste of dry? It's bold, clean, and less sweet. The taste of dry is Michelob Dry, brewed longer, so taste after taste. There's just no aftertaste. Michelob Dry, bold taste with no aftertaste.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
For every man who wears Brute, there's a woman who loves what he smells like. Because there's something about Brute that's nice to be close to.
Honey, I was just thinking about you.
Brute, it smells like a man.
Pontiac's excitement countdown is adding up. Count on getting your share of GM's $1 billion in special incentives. It's big, and it's easy. Like up to $1,850 cash back on Grand Prix and Grand Am for qualified first-time buyers. Or get 2.9% GMAC financing on these hot new Pontiacs. Count on it. See your local Pontiac dealer when excitement countdown is really adding up.
Wednesday.
They killed him. Oh, Martin Luther King.
Someone shot him. It's about time.
China Beach.
What do you guys think? It'll be a great race in the NFC Central. Chicago and Minnesota, obviously the front runners. Is this the year the Vikings can catch the Bears?
Well, they can beat Green Bay. You said that earlier. I think it is. If they stay healthy, and that's true with the Redskins can take the NFC East if they can stay healthy. Both teams troubled tremendously last year by injury.
From the 30-yard line, this is Anderson taking it out to the 32, and there's a penalty marker down on the play.
Al, I go back to what you talked about early, and let's take a guess who this penalty might be on.
Yeah.
The way David Huffman is reacting. Now, David, if this isn't on you, you've made a tragic error. Don't ever react that violently to a holding call unless it's you.
It's like Star Wars in there.
Well, we're getting David extremely upset. And I don't know that it's the official that he's screaming at.
He is very animated to begin with. He'll have a conversation with everyone.
Number 72, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Well, let's see if we can look at it. Here comes Huffman. He's pulling. He's going to be coming right at us in the reverse angle, working his way right up to Brian Bonner, and he wraps him up pretty good. When you get both those hands covering up the numbers on the back, you're going to get a flag.
First and 20 now at the 20. Movement with everybody back on side. A little screen to Dozier. And he gets wrapped up at about the 23-yard line after a pickup of 3. And another penalty marker down.
This one came on the far side of the field.
What a great career for Dozier at Penn State. Second leading rusher all time there. And they've had some great ones to Kurt Warner. Not a big breakaway man, but powerful.
Illegal formation. Number 65 and ineligible was on the end of the line of scrimmage. Offense, decline, second down.
That's Gary Zimmerman.
Well, that's real simple. They didn't have a wide receiver to that side. Here's Zimmerman right here, the left tackle. They've got to have somebody out here on the line to cover him up, or else being the end man on the line, he's an eligible receiver. The Vikings have everybody over to this side, and so what happens is he's an eligible receiver. He didn't report, thus the penalty.
That's the frown on Jerry Burns' face.
On second and long, Kramer goes long, and Delaney had broken off his route.
Oh, Delaney crossed Kramer up. As I said, he crossed him up pretty good. He wanted him to keep going, and Kramer will have smiles for Delaney after the game. But when you're on that field, Kramer will let you know who's running the show.
Yep.
And he is hot.
An on-field hazing job.
You don't do it on your own out there, and that's what Kramer is lecturing the young Jared Delaney, the rookie from TCU, about.
Third down at the 23-yard line. Call it third and 16. They have to get to the 39. And Kramer going deep again. This time for Delaney on the far side, and he makes the catch at the 47-yard line.
That's what I mean. Kramer comes right back. The play called, of course, from the sideline by Bob Schnelker, but Schnelker and Tommy Kramer are thinking on the same wavelength. They want to come back. This is a good-looking youngster they have in Delaney. They don't want to hurt him. They come right back to him, and he makes a spectacular catch downfield. And I'll tell you, he had something on that pass.
Again, Tommy Kramer just looks sharp. And Delaney lays out for the ball and clearly has his knees touching the turf.
Well,
I say clearly, but here they are. They're going to take a look at it.
The minute you say clearly, we got a whistle on the field, and you know that Slatke's looking at it upstairs.
Well, I guess that means we'll look at it again.
Either way, you're seeing a lot from a youngster named Jared Delaney that you're probably going to see a lot more. He's had some good moves tonight. He beats a super cornerback in Brian Davis there, gets to the outside, and Kramer can still throw that long out.
Well, that's a situation, again, we've got to see something to overturn the official that makes it a catch. The left foot's down. There's the right knee. That's a catch all the way. That's a catch all the way. That's
catch all the way.
I don't blame you for looking at it, guys, but that's one of those you got to turn over in a hurry.
Good stuff again on the part of Schnelker and the part of Kramer. Come right back after the rookie has screwed the play up previous to this. Come right back to him.
23-yard pickup.
Time to play ball.
Yep.
Here we go.
3:05 to play in the third quarter. It's been a scoreless third quarter. Game tied at 10. And Kramer incomplete at the 30-yard line, intended for Carl Hilton, who had been holding out, and he signed during the week. And there's another penalty marker down.
Yeah, one thing about Hilton, you got to say he's a smart football player. The rookie who started in his place last week caught 3 passes. Darrell Ingram had a big week, got a lot of praise, and Carl Hilton, who normally backs up Steve Jordan, said, hey, I better get to camp.
That'll make you take a 0 off your holdout.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 99, defense, 15 yards, first down.
Tracy Rocker. And there's Ingram, rookie out of California. Steve Jordan, of course, will be their #1 tight end when he reports.
The core receivers when they have them intact.
Interesting about Ingram, he was recruited by Joe Cap at the University of California, where he played his collegiate ball. Talking about Cap a couple of minutes ago, his 40 for 60 slogan.
Wandering around the press box here.
Probably looking for Dale Hackbart somewhere.
Or Bill Brown.
At the 37-yard line.
The good old boys. The Super Bowl team of '69.
Kramer on first down throws to the 27-yard line to Hassan Jones. Makes the catch despite blanket coverage by Davis.
You know, you say Bill Brown. His haircut reminds me of the old story about a tie. If you wear it long enough, it'll come back into style. Bill Brown wore that flat top all the way through the 60s and the 70s, and now, would you believe it, it's back in style again.
Where?
Not many people would want to discuss it with him either.
I can think of a couple cities, but if you think I'm going to mention it on the air, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, we're watching quite a show by Tommy Kramer. Without Anthony Carter and Steve Jordan, the tight end. The 2 wide receivers, Carter, Hassan Jones, and throw in the tight end. Last year, they accounted for 169 receptions.
Look at those numbers.
And those are the numbers by Tommy Kramer, but that was more than any other trio of wide receivers and a tight end in the entire National Football League. And over 2,700 yards. Jordan, Jones, Carter. They're real weapons.
First down, Minnesota at the 27-yard line. And there's a fumble as they attempted to hand it off to Dozier. And the Redskins have it out at the 41-yard line. Librant Robinson, rookie from Delaware State, comes up with the football.
Talk about getting hit when you take the handoff. Boy, that's exactly what happened. Dozier is hit within a microsecond of taking the handoff from Tommy Kramer. Let's take a look at it. I think it's going to be number 50, Raven Caldwell, who comes in, and that's exactly who it is. And the ball comes flying out. And really a fairly easy job of smothering it by Librant Robinson. But Raven Caldwell timed that beautifully.
Washington on first down, and Mark Rippon is now in the game, so they said he would play the last third of the game, and in he comes with 2:17 to play in the period, intended for Art Monk. And this is pretty much what Joe Gibbs wanted. He wanted a close game and then see how Rippon responds at the end of the game.
I don't think that it's the type of situation that you should read a great deal into that Stan Humphries started this ball game. I don't think there's any doubt that Mark Rippon, with the injury to Doug Williams, is the #1 quarterback of the Washington Redskins.
No
he may be
question.
coming in third, but he's #1.
Unless Doug Williams could have a remarkable recovery and come back next week, he won't have any practice time at all as far as actual combat is concerned.
On 2nd and 10, Ricky Sanders couldn't flag it down, so it'll be 3rd down and 10. And with Rippon in there, they bring back the ace receivers.
Rippon had some great moments last year, too. When Doug Williams went down with that appendectomy early in the season, he came in, made a few starts.
He had a rating over 100 in those starts.
There's Doug. Now out with the bad back that he damaged on a treadmill, but Rippon has a strong arm, doesn't dance around a whole lot. A little bit like Doug Williams. He likes to step back into the pocket. He didn't get a lot of sacks last year. He'll get rid of it like Doug Williams, who's one of the best in the business.
Monk in motion on 3rd down and 10 from the 42-yard line. And Rippon tries to get it into Monk, who's covered by Carl Lee, and it's incomplete. And Washington to punt it with 2:06 to play in the 3rd quarter.
You would think that it'd be kind of nice to let Rippon come into the ball game and at least hand the ball off once or twice to just get settled down a little bit, let the adrenaline get out of his system. Instead, he comes in and 3 plays, 3 consecutive passes. I don't know that that's quite the best way to let a quarterback get started in the 3rd quarter of a ball game.
He doesn't have all those good folks in there either working with him.
Greg Horn to punt. Anthony Allen to receive. Low kick. Allen takes it at the 22-yard line, escapes the first man, and runs it back out to the 25-yard line. So from there, will the Vikings begin their next drive in a scoreless 3rd quarter? 1:56 to play in the 3rd. Still Washington 10, Minnesota 10.
Most men won't even discuss it with their wives, but when they start losing their hair, they talk about it with me. I say, don't waste your time with those miracle formulas. The Food and Drug Administration says there's no proof that they grow hair. The thing to do is to see a doctor. Doctors have the only treatment programs that are proven to work. Men listen because they know I'm making sense. After all, I'm a doctor.
Only your doctor has treatment programs that work. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
Today's Duracell batteries last up to 30% longer than the ones from a few years back. Duracell. You can't top the copper top.
People who count on my brakes are important to me. So the people who work on my brakes are important to me.
The people who work on your brakes at Midas are trained brake experts. Remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
In the heat of battle, it's nice to know you've got plenty of ammunition. NEC Computers and Printers, we're making things better for you.
Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
The great names, the classic moments, the incredible plays. Join the celebration. ABC's Monday Night Football 20th Anniversary Special, September 11th.
Rather than a big video screen here, they only have a 19-inch television at the Metrodome, one of the cost-saving measures. No, they do have a, there's the big video board. Oh, one of our cameramen gets an on-camera.
T.O.'s Tommy O'Connell.
All right.
Making his presence known to the 50,000 plus at the 25-yard line as Minnesota takes over with Anderson picking up the first down and finally wrestled out of bounds by Bowles at the 40-yard line. 1:50 to play, 3rd quarter in a 10-10 tie. Alfred Anderson, he and Fenney will alternate at fullback. That's the way Jerry Burns likes to send the plays in through Bob Schnelker.
You're a running back like Anderson. I wonder what they think of that. Any good running back will tell you that there's a momentum that they build up with carries, particularly the big ones.
Something tells me
go in and out.
Something tells me that neither Schnelker nor Burns has asked him how he feels about it.
Could they care less?
That's Allen in motion from the 40-yard line. Nelson to the outside with some blocking, trying to pick a hole. And gets out to the 43-yard line. Play turned in by Darrell Green. Well, inside, it's lovely as always, and we understand outside in Minnesota right now, it's another story. Pouring, thunder, and lightning.
Is that it, Al?
That's it, babe.
Looks like a good
That's
movie.
Well, you know, wait a minute. We need a forecast.
Oh, no. Just clear up by tomorrow.
Probably a couple of those big thunderheads will still be floating around tomorrow, Al.
I can't wait when we take off. Yeah.
When you head for the coast.
Terrific. Appreciate it. Second and 7 as Kramer goes for Allen. Incomplete as Davis was there covering on the play.
I'll tell you, if we could get a replay of Davis and that coverage, it was absolutely picture perfect. Allen gave him a move to the outside. Davis was right with him. And then he picked him up as he broke it off. And there is the attempt, but he had to overthrow this because of excellent coverage on the part of Brian Davis. Let's take a look at it again. Now watch Anthony Allen. He'll take it to the outside. Here's Davis. He's right with him. Reads it really quickly. Looks into the eyes. Knows when the ball is coming. I'll tell you, that's pretty stuff.
And that's the out and up that we were talking about earlier. Davis has made a couple of interceptions on that out move, and that time Allen fakes the out, and Davis doesn't buy it at all.
3rd and 7. Vikings from the 43-yard line. Kramer for Delaney, and again he broke it off, and Davis has his 3rd interception of the game, and he's tackled at the 32-yard line.
Davis putting on a show here tonight.
Well, he could have fair caught that.
But he has been all over the receivers, and he broke it off Delaney to get there, but I think Delaney again may have
Delaney ran the wrong
crossed
route.
up Tommy Kramer one more time, and you don't do that very often or you're home watching during the season.
I mean, this is going to be a good look. Delaney's going to break it to the sideline. Let's see if we get him in our... See Delaney break it to the sideline? Well, Tommy Kramer thinks that he's going downfield. The ball's already thrown before Delaney makes his break, and all Brian Davis has to do is do an over-the-shoulder catch.
Be interesting to watch Bob Schnelker walk over to talk to Delaney on the sidelines right now.
Got him right this minute.
Fortunately for Delaney, Kramer's about 35 yards away at the moment.
Delaney didn't even get off the field until Bob Schnelker had him.
No. There's Schnelker talking to Delaney right now.
And a lot of adjectives pouring out there. Very colorful.
At the 32-yard line, with under a minute to play in the period, it's Morris who gets tripped up at the line of scrimmage. So Davis with 3 interceptions tonight. He, in 2 regular seasons, has 1 interception, and then he also picked up 1 in the Super Bowl.
Whoa, and you
Denver.
can hear that thunder inside the Metrodome. Listen to the crowd as they react to the thunderclap that really reverberated around the Metrodome here. You know who else is playing one whale of a game tonight, and he's kind of overshadowed a little bit because of Al Noga, is his partner inside, Henry Thomas, number 97. That was Henry Thomas that made the play the last time. Thomas is just turning in a dynamite game as well.
2nd and 11 from the 31-yard line. Rippon fires and incomplete, intended for Art Monk. Fullington covering. And 5 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter.
Here's a good look at Henry Thomas. 3rd-year guy out of LSU, making a nice move to the outside against Russ Grimm, starting guard for the Redskins. He effectively took Thomas out of the play, but Henry Thomas and Al Noga have been having to sell some ball games today.
They're having to go a long way because Doug Martin is injured. They have several other candidates for that in position injured, and they're going the full game tonight.
3rd and 11. And wide open is Viner to make the catch, pick up the 1st down, and take the ball into Minnesota territory to the 47-yard line. And that's where the 4th quarter will begin. As the 3rd period comes to an end, first we have a penalty.
You see that move that Ernest Biner put on Ray Berry? Just that little shoulder fake over by the sideline, send Berry flying.
Illegal use of the hands, a jam to the face, number 48 defense, declined. It's the 1st down.
Reggie Rutland, the cornerback, and here it is for you.
Well, he's working against Art Monk. You're allowed to jam, you're allowed to hit that receiver, but you're not allowed to do it up in the face. You can see that it staggered Monk, and that's a good call by the official. You cannot make contact with the face mask.
They do this out in Hollywood a lot, the liposuction. If you go in with problems, they suck out your problems. You have a little chubbiness here, they suck out the fat. I want to go to a place where they can just suck out my childhood. No, there's a guy in Denmark who does that, who takes out from 7th grade to 12th grade in about an hour and a half.
First charges released in connection with a year-long series of rapes and abductions in Northern Virginia. Authorities looking at possible ties to the death of Rosie Gordon. The story after Monday Night Football.
When the new one-book Yellow Pages arrives, give it a try. It's a big improvement over C&P's books, and it's the only directory with talking Yellow Pages. Free numbers you can call anytime to get sports scores, horoscopes, soap opera updates, and more. It's very useful. As for this set of Yellow Pages, I'm sure you'll find a use for them, too. Oh, perfect.
The One Book. It's just like the old Yellow Pages, only better.
John Riggins, why did you switch from Ford to Chevy? Was it the low 2.9% financing on everything from Berettas to S10 Blazers? Or did you switch because you got $800 cash back on the new Geo Prism? Maybe it was the $500 cash back on your full-size pickup. Why did you switch?
Because today's Chevrolets are just plain better.
See your Washington area Chevy Geo dealers today.
The Oprah Winfrey Show.
And in person beginning September 5th.
No scoring in the third quarter here in Minneapolis, so we start in the fourth period. Game tied 10-10. Washington going with Mark Rippon at quarterback. And he begins the fourth quarter with a 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 47-yard line. A fake to Morris, and then he throws complete for a 1st down to Jimmy Johnson. And the rookie seeking a job takes it to the 28-yard line. Joe Jacoby with a strained shoulder, so the Redskins put him on the shelf for the balance of the game. But for the most part, they're trying to put enough first-unit people in there for Mark Rippon.
I think if it's really bad, he'd be inside.
When that shoulder is strained, that is a strain. That is not a mere twitch or a little pull. If that unit that he calls a shoulder is strained, some big muscles are hurt.
1st down at the 28-yard line. And Morris, who had a big first drive tonight that led to a Washington touchdown, picks up 3. Now, baseball in the American League. Oakland had to play that makeup game at Detroit today and made the most of it on their way to Texas 6-1. In the 5th inning, Kansas City leads California 2-1. In the big game at Baltimore tonight, Baltimore holds on to first place, now leads by a game and a half over Milwaukee, shutting about 5-0 back of Ballard. And the Yankees finally win for Bucky Dent over Boston. 6-4. Goose Gossage picks up the save for New York. Check out the National League in a moment. You can hear the thunder in the background. This is a fiberglass translucent roof. On 2nd and 7, the drop by Monk at the 15-yard line. Little bit behind it. National League now. Ron Darling is the winner at New York as the Mets beat San Francisco 4-1, rebounding from yesterday's loss to the Dodgers. Cincinnati and the Cubs at Wrigley under the lights 5-5 in the 10th. Walton with a 13-game hitting streak. Jerome does not have a hit thus far tonight, but he is due up in the 10th inning. Dodgers lead Montreal in the 9th 5-1. Padres knock off Philadelphia.
Frank, we could have done that.
Meanwhile, 3rd down and 6 here. With a lot of lightning.
How come I don't get to do those?
Back to 25. You're just doing boxing. And that's incomplete, and there are flags down.
Again, that late flag coming in, which would indicate that there was probably some contact between a receiver and a defender downfield, and the official waited until the pass was thrown.
Ooh, a little defensive holding. This will be good for a 1st down.
Holding, number 48, defense, 1st down.
Major mistake.
Reggie Rutland again. Yep, drawing a few calls tonight, but interesting to note that Joe Gibbs is letting Mark Rippon work with the number 1 receivers and most of a starting offensive line. You got Art Monk in there with Ricky Sanders. Jimmy Johnson, the tight end, but he's a leading receiver for the Redskins thus far in preseason. The rookie from Howard.
1st and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Big hole for Morris. And he exploits it. Taking it just inside the 10. And with a propitious spot, should have the 1st down. And
well, he looks like Bubba, doesn't he? He's about the same size, has the same movements. What a great family of athletes, the Morris clan.
How rarely you see him get driven back. For a man of such small stature, you'd think that once he's caught, once that someone puts a shoulder to him, that you'd expect him to be the one driven back, playing a game with such bigger men, but not the case. It's Jamie Morris with almost unnatural leg drive for someone his size, continues to move forward.
1st and goal, Washington at the 9-yard line. And the call Morris his number again, and with that leg drive, he picks up 3.
Look at that. Now there's just a great example of it. Look where he ends up. Now they're not going to give him the spot all the way across the line, but there were good 3 or 4 guys with purple shirts that had a hold of him, and yet he didn't move back 1 iota, or even a smidge, or even a little bit.
Look at it again. For as little as he is, he goes about 185, 188 pounds. He gets in there. Granted, he's got some big guys bulling ahead of him, but
look
again,
at
he looks so much like his brother Joe. Joe's the same characteristic as you know, Dan.
At the 6.
Great leg strength, both of them.
2nd and goal. Sanders foot left, Monk foot right. Monk goes in motion. Morris again, nothing doing as Chris Dolman wraps him up in the backfield.
You know, this is one way to defeat that counter gap, and that's to have unnatural speed coming from the outside. I want you to watch this side of the Redskin line pull, but here's Dolman. Watch how he comes right off their hips, right off the blocker's hips to make the play. There's the pull. Look how Dolman follows it down to the inside, cuts off the angle, and makes the play behind the line of scrimmage. Now that's having great instincts, but yet having the speed to follow it up. And Chris Dolman has the full package, man.
You touched on the weakness of that counter gap too, Dan. You get the speed coming down, you recognize it as it breaks, and you have somebody like a Dolman, you have somebody like a Lawrence Taylor with the Giants, who they're going to face September the 11th. You get them coming down and catching it from the backside, and a great athlete with the speed of a Dolman will do it.
Russ Grimm was shaken up. You saw him assisted off the field.
Chris Dolman, originally drafted as a linebacker, but has found his true calling as a defensive end.
3rd down and goal, ball at the 7-yard line. Sanders wide left. Monk for the moment is in the slot. Finer the sole setback. And Rippon has to throw it away. Nobody open. He was looking for one man, Jimmy Johnson, and he couldn't get free. So it'll be 4th down with 11:13.
Audrey McMillan, good coverage on Johnson. And Rippon threw it away, settling for what should be a chip shot 3-pointer. Since Lohmiller arrived, Phil Gibbs was talking about before he came, they used to high-five a conversion.
Tough time replacing Mosley. But Lohmiller in his 2nd year, and he's the only kicker in camp, so he's not fighting for any job. And he gives Washington the lead after a 24-yard field goal attempt is successful with 11:10 to play in the 4th quarter.
I thought I'd seen it all, but this is one for the books. What has higher owner loyalty than any Mercedes? Higher resale value than even Cadillac, and outsells all the competition put together. Are you ready for this? It's a minivan. Chrysler's minivan. Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager. You want to know why? Well, don't take my word for it. Hey, I make them. Ask the people who own them. If you can't believe them, who can you believe?
There's a motor oil that talks about world-class protection. Catchy phrase, but Valvoline is recommended by name in the owner's manuals of these world-class cars. The other motor oil is not. Whatever you drive, Valvoline makes the highest quality motor oil recommended by any car manufacturer. Around the world, people who know use Valvoline.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and to me. There's no place that I'd rather be. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Beer.
13-10, Washington.
Look at this field goal by Nelson as it goes up and in. Well, not by Lohmiller, rather. Watch this fan in the stands as it hits the net. Watch it tumble down the net and the fan lean out of the first row.
That's beautiful.
And you judge for yourself. Is this a good catch? Does he have both feet in bounds?
Should be in Madonna video.
And control of it.
That's another story.
Joe Fuller returns it to the 17-yard line. That's about the only way you can get a souvenir these days in the NFL with all the netting that goes up. Rich Gannon is going to be the new quarterback for Minnesota. So we saw Wade Wilson start the game exactly as Burns had it planned out. Then Kramer, Tommy performing well. And now Gannon comes in. Gannon in his third year out of Delaware. So Wilson and Kramer done for the night. It's Gannon from here on out at the 19-yard line. And he'll go right to the air on first down. And out of bounds is Harbert, incomplete.
Vikings must have liked something about Gannon. A couple of years ago, they gave a 4th round and 11th round draft pick to New England to pick up Gannon, a third-year player now. Strong arms it out. Got to get them both down.
Oh, nice officiating. Left foot came down right on the line. In the proper position, a good call.
And they call it at regular speed. That's good work.
Second down 10, Minnesota at the 19-yard line. Blitz, gets it away, incomplete. Carl Hilton, the intended receiver, but the issue was forced on the blitz. It'll be third down.
You bring a new quarterback, you see the blitz.
57, Don Graham putting the pressure on. So there it is. Wilson was 4 out of 10 and threw 2 interceptions. Kramer 13 out of 23 for 245 yards, but also a couple of pickoffs. Third and 10. Gannon coming up in the shotgun. And over the middle, the catch is made by Jones out to the 30-yard line, and he finds a first down. An 11-yard gain to the 30 with 10 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the fourth quarter.
Jones has got the good moves. Breaks it off underneath, concentrates. Again, he is so complimented by the fact that Anthony Carter, who, of course, we've said over and over is not here. He's a holdout, trying to renegotiate his contract. But for Hassan Jones, Anthony Carter is a great compliment because Carter will get that double coverage. Sometimes he'll get 3 people out there, and Jones usually will get that single coverage. And he's good working 1-for-1. Real good.
First down at the 30-yard line. And Gannon, seeing everybody covered, almost lost the football, and down he goes at the 24-yard line. Mark Duckins gets credit for dropping him behind the line. And we can tell you that preseason action will continue 1 week from tonight. We'll travel to the Superdome in New Orleans, 8 Eastern time, 5 Pacific. The Cincinnati Bengals, AFC champions, against the New Orleans Saints. Saints not making the playoffs last year, but they had a record as good as the 49ers during the regular season. Giants take on Washington in our regular season opener, coming your way on the 11th of September. 2nd and 16. And Harberts couldn't get there as Mims provided the coverage on the play. It'll be third down at 16.
Well, Gannon's looking at Harvard, saying, you've got to run a fade pattern because they came with a safety blitz. You've got to adjust your route. You've got to get down on a fly pattern and help me out. That's what Gannon threw. The safety blitz was coming. I think it was Barry Wilburn that came in on the blitz. And that is where the receiver has got to see that blitz and make an adjustment. Hard for a free agent rookie to do.
He says, huh, me?
Yeah, there's Wilburn that came on the safety blitz.
Third down 16. Gannon in for his 6th play and presumably his 6th pass. And the Redskins rush 6, blitz again. Gannon escapes, throws against the grain, and the catch at the 48-yard line is made by Harbert. So they finally link up.
He came down out of bounds, but he was pushed by the defender, and you do not have to come down with both feet in bounds if the defender pushes you out of bounds.
Well, this might be worth another look.
good effort on the part of Cannon.
I guess so, as he gets away from Clarence Vaughn, who again came on the safety blitz.
He's up, and the theory being that he could have come down with both feet in bounds, and that is ruled a catch.
That's just a situation where they ruled that Mims went ahead and wrote him out, and guess what?
Yep. Going to look at it.
How about another replay? Let's throw this up to the replay booth.
Take a shot. I don't think they'll reverse it.
They have to look at that and visualize where he would come down if he would not have been ridden out of bounds.
And remember, it has to be totally conclusive. That's the buzzword.
It's Mims and Harberts all the way. And now they're going to tell us that this doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of the instant replay.
So it's the referee's call. If that's the case, why are they looking at it upstairs?
Were they just admiring it or what?
Well, if you make a determination as to whether or not a receiver comes down with both feet in bounds, why would you not look at that type of situation? It's exactly the same, is it not?
In any event, the play stands, and Gannon scrambles and then slides to a halt at the 36-yard line, and that's a first down. We understand the communicator upstairs called right back down to the officials and said, hey, that's not within our jurisdiction. It's you guys, period. That's the word we're getting anyway.
Well, I'll ask the question then, why isn't it under their jurisdiction? Why is any other pass along the sidelines, when there has to be a determination as to whether or not it is inbounds or out of bounds, why duck that one?
I think we maybe have a little miscommunication ourselves at the moment.
At the 37-yard line, it's Gannon.
Look
to
out.
Rice. And Rice takes it to the 20-yard line. So Gannon coming off the bench, leading Minnesota on this march, keeping the drive alive with 2 third-down passes. And he's worked it all the way down to the 20-yard line, with 8:33 to play in the fourth quarter.
Gannon's looked good. He has some people in there that are kind of a hodgepodge mixture at the moment. And he's been able to move the football, scrambling out of the pocket, getting the deep completion, and he's got a drive going.
And all of it through the air. And this one over the middle. The catch is made at the 12-yard line by Allen, and he's run out of bounds at the 5. Anthony Allen, 2 years in Atlanta, 2 years with Washington, and now trying to win a job with Minnesota. And it will be first down and goal as Allen makes his 3rd catch of the night. And the ball is spotted at the 5 with 8:25 to play.
Plan B. You can protect 37. The Washington Redskins chose not to protect this man, Anthony Allen, and he's coming back to haunt them. And Tommy Kramer, how about Rich Gannon decides to go ahead and take a timeout. Something was wrong with the communication that he got from the sidelines, and smart move when you're down there. Be safe.
Okay, have it your way. You can't change pollution. You can't change the deficit. You can't change the price of bread. But you gotta start somewhere. I mean, take your clothes, for example. If you just get out of that monkey suit, you might get a positive attitude going. I mean, the world could be your oyster. Oyster, well, it's an acquired taste that usually takes time.
I thought I'd seen it all, but this is one for the books. What has higher owner loyalty than any Mercedes, higher resale value than even Cadillac, and outsells all the competition put together? Are you ready for this? It's a minivan, Chrysler's minivan, Dodge Caravan, and Plymouth Voyager. You want to know why? Well, don't take my word for it. Hey, I make them. Ask the people who own them. If you can't believe them, who can you believe?
Look at that cracking.
Guess I used the wrong stain.
You didn't use Water Seal stain, the only stain with Thompson's Water Seal. It seals water out and protects against cracking.
With Water Seal stain, the next time won't be for a long time.
Thompson's Water Seal stain.
In every town in America, there's always one place that does a little bit better job of fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts.
It's their biggest game of the year, the championship game of the Little League World Series, live on an early edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday.
So Jerry Burns in his 4th year, Joe Gibbs in his 9th. Look on as the Minnesota Vikings try to take the lead. They trail by 3, but they have it 1st and goal at the 5-yard line, and on the ground and through the middle goes Rice. No signal yet.
Well, this is going to be about as close as you can get without getting in. Watch this spot.
And now the Vikings say touchdown.
Well, I haven't seen an official say touchdown. Have you?
I didn't see a call, but they're going to spot it at the 2-yard line for the extra point, so apparently he's in there. the mysterious touchdown.
Well, Dick Jorgensen issuing not to give us the old arms in the air.
Silent call.
Trying to move this game right along.
There it is.
Oh,
there's
one.
Okay.
He's just a little short in the middle there. Better get a box if you're going to do that.
Well, you automatically look to the referee, though, in that situation.
Yep. And they're going to look at this, too, to see if he crossed the goal line.
Well, they want to see if he was pushed into the end zone.
Or had both feet down.
6 points. Yep, after further review, it's a touchdown.
We're going to get to the point where we review everything.
Well, it's preseason. Well, let's give these guys the benefit of the doubt. Pretty tough to tell from that angle whether or not he got in initially or rolled in, but that's a moot point. It's already been reviewed, and touchdown, Minnesota.
I'll buy it. Pat Beatty will attempt the extra point. He's trying to win the job from Nelson, but he has only a glimmer of hope. And the extra point is good with 8:12 remaining in the 4th quarter. Vikings on top. Minnesota now leads by 4.
You got to juggle 10 things all at once and get them done right. Get them done before lunch. How are you going to do it? Well, you're going to PS to it with the IBM PS2. You can do things with micro-channel that other computers just can't handle. You got an edge in power and speed. You're a forward thinker. Yes, indeed. How are you going to do it? Easy. You're going to PS to it. The solution is IBM. We're looking. We're looking. Yes, we are looking.
Come on.
I'm just looking for a push. Bill.
The most powerful engine in its class. 4 doors, room for 5. Available 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. We've done our part in separating Jeep Cherokee from everything else. Now it's your turn.
Now get $1,000 cash back or special financing on all 2- and 4-door Cherokees during the National Jeep Sale.
Cincinnati coming from behind, beating the Cubbies up at Wrigley. The Cubs blowing a 5-1 lead. Easy to do at Wrigley. It's been done before. And that's their 4th loss in a row, and they're now only a game and a half ahead of the New York Mets in the National League East.
What is this, an audition for Dan in the World Series, or what?
Well, how many 4-run leads have been blown at Wrigley Field? How many 10-run leads have been blown at Wrigley?
I blew an NFL championship there.
Top that.
Joe Howard returns the kick out to the 26-yard line.
one of these guys down the sidelines helped me blow it too, Richie Pettibone. Defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. He was a great safety man in his day.
The Chicago Cubs, Al, are they beginning to feel the pressures of a pennant race in August?
Well, 4 consecutive losses. I think that race is going right down to the wire.
The Cubs end the season in St. Louis. A very profound statement, by the way, Al.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
At the 26, yeah, but mark my word, I'll talk to you at the end of September. Rippon going deep. And incomplete. Good coverage on the play intended for Art Monk.
Well, what, the Cubbies finished with a 3-game series in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Where the Mets finished, you know?
At Pittsburgh, I believe.
At Pittsburgh.
What does this say? Is this a quiz? Oh, Dan's looking for tickets for that Cub-Cardinals series.
No, I was just exhausting my supply of baseball information.
Okay.
I wanted to see.
I thought you did it under the readout.
I thought it was a nice transition. I thought I handled that.
Baseball demands a more of a clipped tone, you know, sort of the monotone that clips the pearls.
Kind of like Harry Carey.
Rippon on 2nd down and 10. Off the fingertips of Biner and incomplete. And it will be 3rd down.
Well, for two teams that are working on their running game, we've seen that ball in the air a lot tonight. Both of them saying we've got to get our running game going. We've got to get some running game, some balance. This has been an aerial thing all the way from the beginning.
It began on the ground for Washington tonight. An impressive first drive. Jamie Morris doing much of the work. Went in for a touchdown.
Understandably so, though, coming into or out of last year, the Redskins ranked 25th in the NFL rushing the ball, and the Vikings were 20th.
3rd down and 10 from the 26-yard line. And too high and tipped away and incomplete. And it's 4th down, and the punting unit will come in. Ricky Sanders was the intended receiver.
I'll tell you, that was a collaboration on the part of Rippon. He had so much on that Sanders couldn't even get the other hand up there. And Sanders had found a beautiful opening between the two defenders.
Joe Fuller is back to accept the kick. Greg Horn trying to win the job in his battle with Tootin. High kick, not a lot of distance. And the fair catch is made at the 44-yard line by Fuller. 7 minutes and 40 seconds remain now in the 4th quarter, and perhaps a chance now to take a look at Minnesota's ground game if they elect to try to run the clock down. Minnesota leading by 4.
Long
Strike
game
up
tonight.
the band.
They're waiting around for the breakfast melody.
This crowd has stayed here. I give them credit for that.
Pouring
Vikings
outside.
A 17-13 lead. That may be it. They may be waiting for it to stop raining.
Around if they went outside.
Dan, another promo for you here.
The Little League World Series, where all the players are Al's height. Next Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, 3 o'clock Central.
And 4 of them can fit into Dan's pants. At the 44-yard line, it's Rice across the 50 down to the 47.
And one leg. Now that was bad, Dan. You have to admit that. Wait, is that
The
going
Little
back
League
to last
World
week's
Series.
in boxing?
What town is that? Oh, Bill Brown is here.
With his haircut.
Who did your hair, Bill?
And a machete.
And Joe Kapp is here also. Speaking of throwbacks.
Hey, what town is that in Pennsylvania where they have the Little League World Series?
Williamsport.
Williamsport, yeah.
2nd and 1 at the 47-yard line. Toss to Rice. Picks up 2. And should have a first down. If they spot it inside the 46, which they will. 6:45 remaining now in the 4th quarter.
I think Bill Brown might have been listening, Dan, when you were talking about his hairdo.
Well, I was being very complimentary. I mean,
no, he wasn't, Bill.
I said was he was a trendsetter. He knew it would come back if he waited it out.
You should have heard what he said when we were in commercial, Bill. At the 45-yard line, first down for the Vikings. And the quick flip out to Allen. And Allen picks up the first down as he escapes the grasp of Martin Mayu, the cornerback, who couldn't bring him down initially, and he's able to take it all the way to the 33-yard line.
A couple of good plays in this quarter by Anthony Allen out of the University of Washington. Crank this thing around. We'll take a look at Bill Brown and his now much celebrated hairdo. And along with Joe Kapp, two of the greats of Minnesota.
There they are.
There they are.
Bill, you got to duck a little bit. Get down. There it is. There it is. You didn't know that you'd be so in style well into the 80s, did you?
Rice takes it inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
But again, if you weren't with us, the little label that the players are wearing, the Minnesota Vikings are wearing on their shoulder, it says 40 for 60, and that's when Joe Kapp was voted the most valuable player back in 1969. He got up and sobbed a little bit, and he said, guys, I want 40 men to go for 60 minutes. Doesn't matter there's 47 men on the roster anymore.
Doesn't matter that they play overtime now.
I think it was really, wasn't it, Joe, when you wouldn't accept the most valuable player trophy, saying it belonged to the entire team?
On second down, it's Rick Bayless who takes the inside handoff and works his way down to the 6-yard line. The rookie out of Iowa, carrying for the first time in the game and making it a memorable carry. Another look at Bayless exploiting that hole, breaking a tackle and creating a 1st and goal.
I think we're going to get Joe Kapp on a headset here, and
he's able to send in a few plays.
Have a few words with the former Viking great, football coach at the University of California.
At the 6-yard line. This is Rice, and he gets 4 down to the 2, so this is a perfect drive for Minnesota at this point.
We got Joe on now. You mentioned about coaching California. We could also talk about your legal endeavors back in the early days. 20 years ago is ancient history. But not some of the things you did, Joe. I don't think we're picking up at the moment. We wait but just 1 second.
Temporary audio problem here in the booth. We'll get Joe fired up in a moment.
Meanwhile, the crowd fired up as Gannon asks for quiet on second down and goal from the 2-yard line. And this is Bayless who set it up. He does not get in. The line judge comes right in and says, right here, guys, right here. 3rd down.
They got Joe now wired up with a hand mic. Vikings looking pretty good, Joe.
Frank, 20 years ago,
there
that's
we go.
ancient history.
Well, of course,
we started this little 40 for 60 20 years ago, and I think what you're seeing right now is that Viking spirit coming through at the end of this football game.
There's a great closeness to this Viking team, and there always has been. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Without question, if you look at these last 20 years, I think the Vikings have been in the playoffs 13 times, maybe 14 times, and I think that's as good as any team in all of football. And we're a little proud of the fact that Bill Brown and Jim Marshall and those old-timers, we got us started back in '69.
Well, it was fun watching those years. And again, how about coming? Are you going to be back coaching? We're going to see you coaching again?
Well, you know, in playing the game, addicted like we are to the game of football, you get hired, fired, and retired. And I love coaching at the University of California. And as you know, we had the big problem of playing those Trojans and Arizona State guys. And for example, if you look at the Vikings, they're starting 2 offensive guards, Arizona State. I mean, it was an NFL franchise down there we were playing. So that was a tough one, and you know it goes back a long way, Frank. But just delighted to be back here in Minnesota. I'm out of the closet. I still live in California, but I'm out of the closet. I don't have to root for the 49ers, you know, out there and world champions like they are. But to come back here and see Bill and Jim and these guys, it's the greatest experience.
Joe and Bill, both of you here in the booth, and you look out at this magnificent facility, the Metrodome here in downtown Minneapolis, but are you used to seeing the Vikings in this environment rather than at the old Met?
Well, Dan, without question, the first time I saw the Vikings, they got the white shoes on. That's not Vikings.
Yeah.
They're playing in this. It is a beautiful facility. I've been here tonight watching this game. But it's not the same. I mean, you get the ice, the mud, the wind, the sleet out at the Met Stadium. That's Viking country.
Those are my memories of you, Joe. Leaning over the line of scrimmage and screaming, sort of a la Sonny Jurgensen.
Well, I want to tell you guys
something.
I want to tell you something. I would only do this in a preseason game, but I'm going to give Bill Brown my headset. I would only surrender my headset in a preseason game.
Well, that's hard to believe.
You're going home now, huh?
Well, perhaps he can defend himself in his hairdo.
Well, my hairdo's back. I don't know about Dan. His hairdo, he grew through his hairdo. That's what he did.
Every decade, as Dan pointed out, Bill, it does come back, though.
Not every decade. Now, wait a minute. I waited a long time for this.
Well, here's a perfect situation for a Bill Brown. 3rd down and goal inside the 1-yard line. And playing the role that Brown used to play is Bayless, who gets in for the touchdown.
Exactly what I like to do.
You recognize that call?
I recognize that play. Joe called that a number of times for me.
How many years for you, Bill? How many years did you play?
14.
14.
Had a lot of fun at it. You played against us a few times.
Oh, yeah. I think we ought to have you do the replay here, Bill.
All right, we got Rick Bayless trying to go over the top, and he is successful. He gets over the top, gets up, good height. I didn't know the kid could jump that high.
You close your eyes on that one, Bill?
Yeah. Close your eyes on the way down.
Another look at it. Vikings look strong this year, Joe.
They look real strong. I think that spirit that we're talking about, 40 for 60 spirit, that there's nobody that's more the epitome of what 40 for 60 means than Bill Brown. I don't know, when you guys talk about your Hall of Fame football players, Bill Brown was a guy that was happy in his work. Kickoffs, fullbacks, catching the ball out of the backfield, blocking, whatever you asked him to do on the football field. And that is an example of 40 for 60 and the type of play that Bill Brown was able to bring to the Minnesota Vikings. And a great example for all young athletes. If you want to watch a football player, watch Bill Brown play, number 30. He is what the Viking spirit is all about.
Where are you guys next week?
It could be the first time we've had there were 5 guys in the booth. Are you guys working for scale tonight, or what's the deal here?
At least.
Well, we're getting,
what do you mean, at least?
You're going to give us a taco sandwich here, are you not?
So delighted you guys could come by. It's great to see a team that not only is together as a team when they're playing, but the best friends you make in life are the players you go to battle with, and it's great to see you two guys together.
Thank you.
And if this goes into overtime, you guys come on in back in here and help us out again, would you?
Overtime?
You've got plans.
Know the score?
Yeah. Oh, well. Al's just trying to keep our audience.
So to speak.
Both of them.
At the 9-yard line, it's Joe Howard returning the kick for Washington back out to the 32-yard line, and the Redskins will start their next drive from there, down by 11, and we've got a penalty marker down as well. With 3 minutes and 19 seconds left in the contest.
Get Dan saddled up here again. You know, Bill wasn't going to give that headset back.
Well, you know, really, I was hooked up. I was just tired of talking.
Your gums are tired, huh?
Jimmy Davis, our audio man, hooked me up again. Here we've got, I didn't know we had this many headsets in the booth. We can get some people talking up here.
Illegal block in the back by number 90. Offense declined. Number 39 on the receiving team accepted. Half the distance, first down.
Joe, good seeing you. Bill, thank you. Joe Cap, Bill Brown. It's easy for them to say they missed the old Met right now, but I wonder about the Vikings of 1989. If we were at the old Met on a night like tonight, we'd be playing in a downpour.
Well, they're still tough. They still don't use hand warmers for home games.
Many pictures of Bud Grant walking the sidelines with just a jacket on.
Little screen to Mickles out to the 16-yard line.
I mean, I don't think there's any question that there was a certain amount of glamour involved in some of the great football games that were played in inclement weather and the cold. And I don't know that there's a better picture involving the game of football than a shot down the line of scrimmage of both lines down, dug in with the cold breath being able to, as it crystallizes coming out. I don't know that there's a better shot in the game of football than that.
And it's becoming rarer and rarer with the advent of the domes as the pass is incomplete. Dropped by number 98, Jimmy Johnson. Low throw to begin with. It'll be third down. Six teams in the NFL now play in dome stadiums, and for what it's worth, no team with a dome as a home has ever gone to the Super Bowl. And you say, what about Minnesota? All 4 times Minnesota went to the Super Bowl, the old Met was their home. Not since moving in here. No dome team has ever played in the Super Bowl. Third and 3 from the 15-yard line, and the pass is incomplete.
Well, you can wrap the domes, and I kind of feel like, and I liked it when you see a little dirt on the body, and and mixes up with a little trickle of blood here and there. But I wouldn't want to be playing this game outside tonight with what's going on out there with the lightning and the thunder, and they might have even have to call it.
I know one thing: we wouldn't be in Minnesota on Christmas night were it not for a dome. That game would not have been scheduled in Minneapolis.
Certainly be a Christmas atmosphere, I can assure you of that.
Yes. Richard Tootin with a good kick again. I mean, he's had an inconsistent night, but 2 beauties. The second here, a flag goes down. 2 flags, in fact, as Fuller runs it back out to the 40-yard line, and the clock shows 2:21 to play. I'm not sure who leads in the Redskin punting derby after tonight between Horn and Tootin.
Charlie Taylor over on the Redskins sidelines. Great Hall of Fame
Illegal
receiver.
motion, number 35, kicking team. Illegal block, number 28, receiving team. Penalties offset, 4th down at the line of scrimmage.
Charlie Taylor, a running back in college. And then, of course, a great wide receiver in the pros.
And for a long time, a great running back in the pros.
Come on, Al, take credit for him. He's Arizona State.
I went to school with him.
No, you did. What unusual modesty. I bring it out.
A lot like Bobby Mitchell. He went from a running back to a great wide receiver. Of course, you could throw him a little 4-yard square out, and he'd turn it into an 80-yard touchdown.
Interesting thing that Charlie is doing along with the Redskin receivers this year, where the 3 of them are going to get together and decide who starts. Art Monk and Ricky Sanders and Gary Clark are going to sit down and tell Joe Gibbs before the game which 2 of them will be the starting duo.
Tootin, this is another good kick. Fielded at the 33-yard line. And Joe Fuller takes it back to the 42.
I think they ought to let everybody do that. Let the offensive line get together and decide who starts. That way, if I was playing and I had Jack Youngblood that week, I'd say, hey, I'll sit this one out. You guys, I'll let you start.
Set up a little committee.
Yeah. It'd be tough getting somebody to line up across from Reggie White if it was starting by committee.
My week off.
That's where you'd be taking a look at that schedule the day it came out.
Minnesota at the 43-yard line, and they'll try to eat up as much of the clock as they can. They lead by 11. Bayless, who scored the last Viking touchdown, making his mark in this one as he takes it into Redskin territory, gets to the 40-yard line, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. And there it is. We're mentioning the battle of the punters right there. Tootin averaging 37.8, and Horn tonight 39.
Well, Tootin has made a fine recovery after a soft start.
Oh, he had a couple of nubs, didn't he?
2-minute warning in
Nubs.
Minneapolis.
Little nubs.
Jeep Cherokee has available for... Jeep Cherokee has available 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The most powerful engine in its class. Full-time 4-wheel drive capability. And room for 5. Being superior in these areas makes Cherokee superior in these areas.
Now get $1,000 cash back or special financing on all 2- and 4-door Cherokees during the National Jeep Sale.
Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
Road Handler Treadlocks. Test them for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest tires you've ever owned, Sears will buy them back. Great low prices every day. Road Handler Tough. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
When you buy a Supercolor TV antenna from Radio Shack for just $24.88, you'll get terrific reception instead of interception. It's easy to install, and the Supercolor computer-designed antenna gives you pictures and sound so real.
Hey, Starbuck, what do we do now?
Red right, 16 wide post, on one.
It could make all the difference in the game.
There's a man open. And touchdown!
The Supercolor TV antenna, just $24.88, only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
Starbuck called the perfect play.
Updating baseball, A's win today, and they're back in first place because tonight Kansas City beats California 4-2. We mentioned Baltimore over Milwaukee 5-0. The Brewers are now a game and a half back, and Toronto trails by 2. They were off. And the Yankees win their first under Bucky Dent 6-4. Assuming Bucky Dent is still the manager. In the National League, Mets win, and Cincinnati knocks off Chicago in 10. Dodgers beat Montreal. Here, with less than 2 minutes to play now, it's Bayless taking the ball to the 35-yard line.
Well, and Dan, the Redskins management and the players wanted to express their condolences to the family and the friends of Betty Endicott. She's the VP, or was the VP and general manager of WTTG TV in Washington. They have carried the Redskins pregame for many seasons. She passed away this past Saturday, and she was a close friend of so many of the players and also the management of the Redskins.
This one winding down at the Metrodome with a minute and a half to play. Jerry Burns watching his team as they are on the verge of their second consecutive preseason victory, and Washington would go down to its first preseason loss. Brad Baxter, a rookie out of Alabama State, is stopped at the line of scrimmage. There's one other game in the NFL preseason that's going on at the moment at Anaheim Stadium. First quarter, the Rams have taken the lead over the Cardinals.
We'll be in New Orleans a week from tonight. Take a bit of a breather, and then we open our 20th anniversary season in the nation's capital with these Redskins and the Giants.
Third down and 4 at the 34-yard line. And this is Baxter, and he can't turn the corner. He is stopped by Brian Bonner, and Washington. Well, they'll just wrap this one up. No sense stopping the clock. The executive producer of Monday Night Football, Jeffrey Mason. Tonight's game produced by Ken Wolf, directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical director, Joe Shabo. Associate director, Earl Woody Fryman. Halftime associate producer, John McGinnis. Jeff Kibler and Rick Abbott, the assistants to the producer. Bob Simon, Tony Versley, our operations manager. Lee Kalinsky, our telecommunications manager. Halftime assistant to the producers, Susan Heffernan. Steve Hurt, our director of information, as always, our bosses in the booth here. George Hill and Malibu Kelly Hayes back again.
And Bill Brown.
And Joe Cap.
And Joe Cap.
And
cast of thousands.
Many thousands. There's Doug Williams, still inactive. Those Redskins heading home from Minnesota, where the Vikings have won it tonight by a score of 24-13. This Saturday on ABC Sports, celebrate the 50th year of Little League Baseball. First, at 3:30 Eastern and Pacific, we'll present the Little League 50th Anniversary Special. Then on a special edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports, it's the Little League World Series from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, live except on the West Coast. And next Monday, special preseason edition of ABC's Monday Night Football features the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline following your late local news over most of these ABC stations.
ABC's Monday Night Football preseason special, the Washington Redskins versus the Minnesota Vikings, has been brought to you by Jeep. There's a feeling you get only in a Jeep. By Anheuser-Busch, we brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. And by Bugle Boy. In jeans and casual fashions, Bugle Boys leading the charge. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports. recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
This is ABC.